perspective. These humans could not handle washing their fucking hands on a regular basis. And we're going to tell them, by the way, we've contacted aliens and they're on the planet now? No. As a species, I'm just pretty sure we can't handle it. At least if we can take our recent behavior and our historical behavior into account. It's just not something we can handle. I mean, it would be the type of thing that you honestly just have to let them see when the time comes because that's going to happen eventually. But once you put that into the ecosphere, it's going to spiral. You're going to have people on Fox News talking about how the alien abduction is a fucking liberal plot to take away their fucking hamburgers. It's going to turn into bullshit. And we don't need any of that.
Thank you for that. Pyro. Let's go.
So here we go. And like I said, I'm about to do the thing where I agree with everybody. I think, let me make sure. Yeah, I think Elder Drazi and like Sprouticus kind of right. Like, we gotta tell motherfuckers. And I think they're right for the exact reasons that Parallax and Revolutionary gave. It's like, and Drazi said this in his opening, this is just gonna end badly either way. The problem I have when comparing like first contact with COVID is like first contact takes several huge leaps. It not only says that there are aliens out there, but it tells us that they are intelligent and they are on a level that can communicate with us and they're reaching out. We in the existence of humankind, to our knowledge, have never had that happen. That is going to be a mass shakeup for societies all across the planet, and it's going to have effects on every single aspect of our culture. So I'm in the wheelhouse of we do tell them, for the simple fact that there's going to be a need to be a major crackdown on this planet to make sure that no random bumfuck in the middle of Alabama says, "There's no Jesus, beep, and starts an intergalactic fucking war or some shit. Because again, this is first contact. They may not be as read up on us as we would like them to be. And Jesus fucking Christ, these are aliens coming from the skies and technology that's way better than us. We don't want them to see us as like, yo, we need to get rid of them and make room for us. So it's like, we need to make that contact. In like fucking Parallax's answer, I like the fact that he did give something that was missing from like the rest of everyone else. Is like there's gonna be a level of how much we release depending on what the contact is. If it's gonna be like, yo, we're friendly, we see you guys, we're coming in peace, we gotta let motherfuckers know and get that like giant headache of riots and like wars and shit. We gotta get that out of the way. If it's something on the scale of like, we're coming to enslave your race, exterminate, blah blah blah, there's going to be a need to be a way where we release that information, but slowly to the public. I'm in the favor of like like world leaders get together and like, yo, we're going to release a worldwide mass campaign where we just tell niggas the enemy is coming. And over time, as we're getting this war economy built up and shit, we slowly release details on what we know about the enemy. So it's not catching niggas by surprise that, yo, there's something out there that we're preparing for. Like, they see we're preparing for something. They see the government's taking this seriously, because the governments would. And then like we get that information slowly as the threat gets nearer. But like it would have to be like a controlled release at that point. But like we just have to tell motherfuckers. There's no way to get over that panic. It's going to be there.
Would you agree under the circumstances that there's peaceful contact? Like literally, like let's say we encountered a species of straight up intellectual herbivores that don't leave their planet. And they were just like, no, you're fucking cool. If you want some knowledge, we'll send it your way, but we're never coming there. Like, we don't even have aircraft, and like we're monitoring. We see no motion. There's no threat. There's no interaction whatsoever. They're just like, nah, leave us the fuck alone. Like, that's the whole interaction.
I think we would still have to tell motherfuckers otherwise, because I forgot who said it, but like there's going to be the conspiracism that grows if you don't. There's going to be the leakings of knowledge within the government. That was Drazi. Thank you, Drazi. There's going to be the leakage within the government that like, yo, we're talking to fucking aliens, man. We're talking to fucking aliens. And like that's just going to get out. Like, look at secrets the government already can't fucking keep that we find out years later. So like when those secrets get out and motherfuckers have time to conspiracize, they're not going to be thinking the government's telling the truth and they're peaceful. They're going to be thinking, oh, they're lying. They're lying to protect themselves and build spaceships for themselves because they want to leave us to die. They're evil. They're all fucking evil. The aliens are evil and they're coming to kill your kids. They're coming to kill your kids and turn them into communists. And that's what's going to happen. So I think even in the event that they're peaceful and they stay to their planet and they're like, yo, you guys do you, we're just going to have to tell people to get over that hump where we nearly annihilate ourselves trying to figure out what to do with the aliens. Because there's going to be motherfuckers that are like, yo, we just want to go over there and fuck shit up for whatever fucking reason we can think of. And then there's going to be the pacifist side, no matter what, that says, yo, no, let's, try and negotiate. Let's, capitulate. And like, we're going to have to fight that out. And there's going to be for a variety of reasons, religion, science, like it's just going to be a clusterfuck no matter what. Go ahead, Drazen. I'm sorry I cut you off.
Sorry, I thought you were done. There's a pragmatic reason too. There's no real reason to think that we have an effective way to communicate. If you open it up, people on the internet are gonna figure that shit out in like a week. In like a week, some dude in Kansas in his mom's basement is gonna be like, I actually cracked the code to the signal that they gave, and he's gonna pull it up, and there's gonna be a news crew in his mom's basement. It's gonna be fucking disgusting, but that code's gonna be brilliantly cracked, and the government's gonna have to use this fucking 29-year-old dude to have a conversation with them, because like aliens don't come to Earth speaking English. That shit ain't happening. That's silly. That doesn't make any sense. You need more people to get on it. There's just like open source it, like CRISPR. We're gonna figure out how to talk to them that way. If we leave it up to our government, they're gonna spend $7 trillion to like fuck up and piss them off and get us fucking space nuked. I just think that having more people, having more eyes and hands on, is the best way to go.
I just also want to add really quickly, motherfuckers got to get them used to what the fuck we are. We don't want to like springboard some shit on them where we're like, oh, we come peacefully because we didn't tell half the motherfuckers. And then when they make their first appearance to the public, it's like, the fuck is that? We're doing a civil war. And the aliens are like, yo, these monkeys are actually fucking backwards. Nuke them from orbit. Like, don't want that happening where they're just so disgusted by some shit they see from our culture that we didn't, like, because of the blockage of information that, like, you just don't foresee it. Like, ew, that would be fucking embarrassing.
Is it bad that I assume
we get wiped
that
out
that's
because we didn't
kind
show
of
them Yowie?
I would assume that that's where the aliens would be coming from anyway. Like, if they've been observing us over, like, the better part of the last century, they would just, I forget what TV show was, but it makes more sense for them to just put a box around Earth so that we can never escape.
No,
was
like,
it South Park? Yeah.
But like,
They'd be like, no, you humans can stay where you are and we won't bomb you. But if you all try to leave this planet, here come the Star Destroyers.
That's why I like the I like that episode of South Park, because they give, like, there's always that test where it's like, okay, are you actually ready to, and it's just so fucking stupid. It's like the typical cop heist where it's like, now are you sure this is your marijuana, sir? No. Think about it. Are you sure no officer placed this in the car? Or, you didn't. And the dude's just like, no, it was me, officer. It's my. It's like, we put this in the car, but like, we're going to take you to get looked at. You're really stupid. I like that because like South Park takes it to the extreme of like that test. But yeah, I was going to say something about it.
So
I, for
back to
one,
where Elder
welcome our
Drazen-
new alien overlords.
Let's really get down.
I remembered. I remembered what I was gonna say. The reason I like this question and the way it's worded is because it leaves that open contact into interpretation. We can talk about like, yo, if they've been observing us for an amount of time and like they get to know our culture beforehand, so they know what they're getting into. But then like I also like the other way of first contact where it's like, we were already going somewhere else and we just didn't know this like entire fucking planet was here. Like shit, last time we looked here there were fucking dinosaurs or whatever the fuck on this planet. It was a lava ball because we were like 4 billion fucking light years away or some shit. We did not know you guys were here. Like, whoops.
So to get more to Elder Drazi, so I really appreciate where Elder Drazi took it. How long in the age of information can you keep this kind of information suppressed? When some kid in his mom's basement can crack NASA,
2.5 weeks.
Are we, for the record, are we just open? I wanted to know. I've been kind of I've been kind of chilling. Okay, we're open. Okay. So I think that we could keep it suppressed for a very long time if it was a government agency that found it. And I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that. And I also think that even if we didn't, all evidence historically suggests that it would be a disaster if it leaked and a disaster if we disclosed it to the public. I think you need to look no further back than Edward Snowden. He leaked information that was already like publicly accepted, much like most people think aliens exist. Publicly accepted that the government, Big Brother, has been looking over us since the 70s, way before they actually had the fucking technology to appropriately do it. We had publicly accepted this and thought it was an okay thing. No one gave a fuck. And then Snowden was like, yep, they are. And everyone lost their fucking minds. People cannot handle basic levels of information. I also would go back to Orson Welles. Literally, fucking H.G. Wells, Orson Welles reads fucking War of the Worlds on the radio. It's a story, and people literally thought there was a Martian invasion on the East Coast.
That's actually a myth.
It's not a myth. No, it's not a myth. The scale of it has been exaggerated at times. It is not a myth.
There's a problem with your idea, though. It's not. There's a lot of hubris to think that we could keep it covered up. We could lie about it at first, but like, it's not really up to us. If ships just start showing up in the sky everywhere, everybody's got a smartphone. People are gonna be like, "Hey, you motherfuckers!"
It's not even a scale. It's not even in a scale of smartphones. It's just
time
like
out. We need to define some parameters here because you're talking like invasion, and I am talking first contact with.
Well, I didn't say invasion. Well, I'm saying that they could, first contact. If it's followed by not necessarily like invasion, but like visitation. I'm just saying that it's not within our control.
No, yes.
To decide when it comes out if we decide to hide it. If we release it on our own, we are in control of that.
Let me butt in real quick, because like I see where Eldrazi's coming from, but like I don't think it needs to be like as close to Earth where a motherfucker with their smartphones. Like if they're sending signals and shit in the first contact, but let's say they have a shit parked outside the orbit of like Mars or Venus, because they've been observing us and they know we're pretty stupid. We can't get that far. A dumb motherfucker like myself can buy a $30 telescope and see that shit. And that's kind of the things I'm talking about. Like if they're I'm thinking like if they're sending just a broad one-time signal to see if there's communications and shit, and they're sending it on all frequencies they can find because they have that dumb fucking disc we sent out into space. There's gonna be motherfuckers in Kansas with their ham radios talking about conspiracy theories that just hear aliens say, "Yo, what's up? There any bitches out there?" And then then the secret's blown. Like there are ways, like when we're talking about the extraterrestrial coming to Earth, like the government can hide it, but it is kind of up to the aliens. Like, how do they make first communication? How far outside of Earth do they park to observe us? Like, if it's anywhere within like the first couple of planets and shit near the, like, we can see that shit with a telescope.
In all fairness, they use that example just for a good, like easy to imagine illustration. Yeah, of course, it extends out to anybody with like any kind of monitoring equipment.
Well, I'm thinking of like all of like the fucking.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Like I'm thinking about like the planet recently that was discovered by like some woman in Arkansas or some shit, and it's like NASA's just like, yeah, no, we don't know how we missed this one.
So to be clear, I think like the reason I'm where I am with this is because we're well out of the parameters of what the SETI system is intended to do. So the whole point is it's like long distance signaling, long distance communication, and like a preemptive level of communication, right? So we need to discern like specifically what kind of communication we're dealing with here, because I do think that's imperative in how we handle what we tell the public. I don't think if we find out that there are fucking if there's bacteria, okay, on Venus, I don't think the public even needs to know that. I don't think there's any reason to suppress that, for the record. I don't think that would be damaging information, but I also don't think the government or the citizenry are somehow entitled to that information, right? Just because we
citizens are entitled to that information.
I just don't think they are. I just don't think we're entitled.
We're all citizens of the
universe. You give a reasoning behind that?
I don't think we are, because I don't think I think that we're not entitled to any level of information. I don't think we're.
So you disagree with the Freedom of Information Act? You disagree with FOIA requests?
No, obviously that's been codified, right? Like I just don't think that.
Okay, but you said we're not entitled to any information. So if you don't think we're entitled to it,
I don't believe that we are naturally entitled to any information. I believe you can codify whatever.
If we're not naturally entitled to any information, then what the hell is the point of the founders saying, "This is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people"?
I mean, that still wouldn't be natural. It would be a social thing that we created.
It's literally
no. It would be a foundation of the government.
Yeah,
which would be natural to the government,
and
right?
I am one of the people, and I am of the mind that the top levels of the people should not tell all of the people this shit. Okay, there you go.
I really love that Sprout was just waiting for somebody to
Drazi,
fucking
for a
cross an
second,
American
I thought
line.
that was vodka.
No, it's water.
For a second, I thought that was vodka. I was about to say, oh, this panel's about to pop off.
I don't need to be drunk to say crazy shit.
You got a pregame for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm about to take a dab. It's about to get real in here.
Like, I will respond to
space.
Parallax. I think if we find like some bacteria on Mars, like I think the people should get to know that information. Because
So do I. I just don't think I don't think they are entitled.
I think I think people are entitled to that information because that's like one of life's questions, right? Like, are we alone in the universe? Is God's like even in religious circles, is God's creation of life only relegated to this planet? Getting an answer like that would, it would broaden a lot of shit up. Motherfuckers would. I think people are entitled to that information because that's something that we've been asking since we like knew the stars were a thing.
Can I
You don't
ask
want to
a
kill
personal
God
question
for
real quick
people.
before I reply?
Oh, yeah, sure,
So
go
here's the
ahead.
thing.
Personal
Are you religious?
Yes.
Okay. I think this is the death of religion, for the record.
Yeah.
I think we discover aliens. It is the fucking death of religion. So I think you're arguing against your own interests.
No, I would say
It's a
the death
Judeo-Christian
of
religion.
I would say it's the death
Yes.
of some religions. I would say it's the death. I would certainly say it's the death of some religions. I don't think this is the death of religion.
It's the death of any religion that is based upon the idea that we are created in the image of God because there's some other intelligent creature that exists that is not the
No,
same.
yeah,
image
like
of us.
exactly.
So
it's the death of it's a death of
for the-
certain religions.
For
not
all
of them.
intents and purposes.
Abrahamic
okay.
religions are done.
Okay, if
This
Rich
is
were
the-
here,
yeah,
he would
over
say
half of the globe's
Not
religion.
he would say that the
necessarily.
Catholic Church has already acknowledged that there can be alien life.
The Christians in general have acknowledged that there is the possibility of alien life. Like this wouldn't be the death of religion. It may take a hit for religions may take a hit, of course, right? But
How
like
many
it
more
wouldn't be the
hits can it
death of
take?
religion. I'm
People
sorry.
are very good
brother.
at
How many more
retaining
hits
whatever
can it take?
beliefs they already have.
Yeah,
J-
people.
yeah,
And I think that would subsist even after we do that.
You
But
could
when
write. They
comes
could write
to,
it
like,
off.
us finding something like bacteria. I think we could handle like bacteria.
Yeah.
But
No, I
if
don't
like
think bacteria would.
Lur
I'm
from
talking
the planet
intelligent life.
Omicron Persei 8 drops in, people are gonna fucking freak out. Like we
Yes.
could handle. It's almost the type of thing that would have to be given out in meager portions, like piece by piece. Oh, we found this. We found this. We found this. Honestly, if you were to find some higher level, higher functioning being that could use like psychic energy or some shit, you don't want to start with that conversation. You want to build up like, oh, we found water. Oh, we found this. And then eventually get to, holy crap, we found something that could talk. Maybe 10 years after people have been primed to start that conversation. I mean, maybe this is just showing my lack of faith in humanity, but I think my lack of faith in humanity
I
is...
agree. No, I agree with
If one
you.
Protoss zealot walked through Times Square tomorrow, people would like literally half of the people who believe in creation-based religion would go, he made that motherfucker too? That's not fair. I'm done with this shit.
But like this is the thing, right? Religion will incorporate this shit. If
Yeah, they will. They'll hate God. They will hate
no,
God.
they-
They'll be like,
they
"Why
won't-
he
they
got
won't
this
hate-
place?
no,
That's
time out, time
No,
bullshit."
let him
Time out.
finish.
You're-
Let him
no,
finish. He
you're
said
wrong.
Daleks.
You're wrong. You're wrong. They won't hate it. They will look at the Daleks from the planet Skaro descending on the cities and burning it to the
Daleks.
ground, and they will say to themselves, God, our Lord and Savior is testing us. Remember Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember Jonah and the whale. Remember the flood. He promised not to flood the earth, and now he is sending his angels from
of the zealot.
Exactly. They will
That's
incorporate this shit.
100% gonna happen.
They will
Yeah,
incorporate
I hate that that's what the other half will do. You're right, but there is a half that's just gonna be like, yo, fuck that dude.
like,
That's
it's gonna-
bullshit.
No, but like this is what I mean when I say like religions aren't gonna die. They're going to incorporate this shit into their religious so it can make sense. It's what the fucking Mormons did when they discovered that, oh look, Native American people are actually people.
The Mormons
They
discovered a
start-
whole
they-
religion. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They discovered their whole religion.
In a-
They were
in a
like, "Let's
hat.
do one."
In a hat.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're
Like,
gonna
they were like, hey, let's do a
incorporate
new one.
all of the.
Hey.
And they're incorporating all of the science and shit into that shit. I mean, look at Scientology. It's fucking bullshit, but it's a religion where niggas believe aliens showed up in 747s
Wait.
to bring down like.
Why is
you
Scientology
incorporate
any
that
worse
It's
than any
amazing.
others?
So I had an
It's the
interesting.
best religion
I had an
ever.
interesting in my an interesting message in my chat that articulates what I was thinking really well. Most people who are theistic, they like God because they think God like is in their corner, right? Like he made them in their image. He's gonna reward them for good deeds. They're gonna get entry to heaven.
That's the newer version of God.
but-
That's the
but-
newer
but brother,
version of
but
God
brother,
because our
but that's-
society is comfortable and
Okay,
cushy.
but listen.
Look at
God
the
with the
God
marketing
with
team.
soci-
No,
Listen,
Whoa,
look at
whoa. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Stop. I gotta have you stop interrupting me. You've been doing it a lot. I'm drawing lines. No more. I don't like that shit. All right. So I think
I
the
don't like a lot of
problem.
things.
Yeah, exactly. I think the problem is that you are dealing with a group of people whose beliefs are almost solely founded in the idea that their creator created them. It is indeed based in the self, in spite of the fact that theists will tell you, and there are good theists who are very selfless people, and I'm sure you're right in front of me. I'm not shooting shots. Generally, though, most religious folks, for the record, most religious folks suck. Just like most average folks suck. People suck. But most religious folks are doing it for self. They're thinking of the self. I want to get to heaven. I want to do this. I don't see too many religious folks out here doing fucking charity anymore. I don't even see too many churches doing charity anymore. Okay? So when you take away that element of God's in my corner by showing them a literally straight up superior being, it's out the window for every one of those people. I'm not saying religion just disappears off the earth, obviously, right? There's going to be some people that will indeed do exactly what you do. They're going to pick up their snakes and be like, this is Jesus challenging us like he does every time I hope my viper in front of my face. Okay?
So
I get it. There's some people that will absolutely 100% buckle down and take that snake venom on and go. I get you.
So I see
But I
exactly.
think most people are out.
I see exactly where we're disagreeing, and it's one sentence. You may be right for Abrahamic religions.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
Like
I'm
you're
saying.
like
I
you're
said that,
basically.
I said that though. I said creation-based
not-
religions, which is like essentially all Abrahamic belief is based on the God
But
being
those
created me in the
aren't
image.
the only creation-based religions.
I said the idea that a God created you in his image. That is essentially Abrahamic. If you want to amend my words to Abrahamic, you go ahead, but that's essentially the parameters.
I mean, in the original statement, you didn't say it, but gotcha now. Now that we're specifying Abrahamic religions, I think Abrahamic religions will take a hit, like Sprouticus said, but like I think this
they're the
idea
vast
of-
majority of the religious people on the
Yeah,
planet.
no,
so
I think a vast majority of like the God, the laid back, chill God with sunglasses and Jesus, like that's
Buddy
relatively
Christ.
fuck.
I thought Buddy Christ immediately, yeah.
Exactly.
Like, Buddy
tell me,
He's
tell
saying-
me exactly.
really.
He's saying Wiccans
tell me
and
exactly what
Satanists
this
are
changes,
fine.
though.
Yeah,
Tell me exactly what this changes. For example, to take Christians, what exactly does it change if aliens exist?
For a lot of people,
I don't think
their faith is
anything.
based on not thinking. This is going to confront
Like
them with the
Native
truth.
Americans existed. They didn't know about Native Americans prior. What changed?
Are you really genuinely comparing just another type of human to alien?
No, but what I'm saying is they didn't know half of the world existed.
Okay, but
He's
like,
right?
actually right. Sprouticus is right here. When these
No, he's
people
not.
when these people first discovered other people of different skin tones, they incorporated them into their religion. It may not have been positive, it may not have been good by our standards today, but these people were incorporated.
okay,
These people were
And
seen
if-
as like slaves and shit. In Bibles were rewritten to include like slavery into that shit. These people were incorporated into these religions to make that shit okay.
you know what's really dope is you're actually making my argument for me. Again, we are defining this being as greater than us, and therefore that makes God not in our corner because he also created this greater being, right? That is the issue you're going to create in a conflicting person's mind who believes in a God who created them in his own image. That person's going to have major issues with the idea that they were created in the image of their own creator, and yet there is a psionic powered fucking being in Times Square. They're just going to have issues with it. And if you can't get behind that,
they're going to attribute that to the Nephilim. They're going to look at that and
It's
like
sad.
the
Religious
motherfuckers that
people will
like the
have to take an
motherfuckers
ego
that
hit.
no,
the motherfuckers that keep on to the religion are going to look at that and be like, ah, yes, they wrote about this in the Bible. The angels mated with man and created giants and aberrations that were way more powerful than us that God tried to wipe away. And then they're going to do the double think thing like in 1984, where they say the dumb shit of God didn't wipe them away, even though their Bible says it does. I'm not saying it makes
no,
sense.
it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Well,
It
that's
doesn't.
just
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't say. First off, it doesn't say God wipe. Okay.
Go ahead, correct me.
It doesn't necessarily say that God wiped them away. But what I'm saying is I don't think this changes a ton. I don't think just because you're not able to physically beat someone else does not mean that like, oh well, God must not create me in his image and created that thing in his image because it can physically beat me. That's not the thought. That's not the thought process.
In every way.
One second. You just got super mad at Pyro for interrupting. So I would appreciate it if you would show me the same respect you expect.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it if you'd categorize my arguments appropriately, but go ahead.
Well, another interruption. Awesome. So I guess we're just not showing respect, but asking for respect.
Oh, no,
Got
you
it.
said
I will
you
make sure I
was
give you none.
including
All
sentence.
right. So now moving forward, there is so they're not gonna be like, oh, so this person's physically better than me, this person's better than me, smarter than me, whatever. That's not going to be like, oh, well, I'm not made in God's image and they are. It's not what's gonna happen. This simple idea that you think this is what's gonna happen, it's because they're conflicted. It makes absolutely no sense when countries have gone to war and have been beaten down severely. Yet that didn't take a hit. That didn't take a hit in Christianity. They were both Christian countries. Didn't take a hit in Christianity. I'm confused. So explain to me how a conflicted person. So yeah, because your point is so stupid. So explain to me how someone who thinks that someone else is smarter or stronger is all of a sudden gonna go, you know what? God didn't create me in His image.
Because you're using stupid words like someone else, and you're also ignoring that I define this being as being literally greater in every way. So it's smarter, faster, more intelligent. It's not the only one of its kind. We are understanding as these are aliens, right? There's a whole ass species of these things. There's a ship above the earth, and one of them's in Times Square. Like, under that framework, there's no fucking world where you can tell me that the vast majority of Abrahamic belief people are going to look at that being and go, God made me in His image.
Well, I tried to say something to this effect earlier too, is that when you're confronted with something like this, people that have their religion and it's sort of on autopilot, they don't really have to think about it because it's not really something that's gets challenged a whole lot in everyday life. You can't deny this. You're not going to just be able to go, well, the Bible says this going to fucking hit you hard. You're going to think about this. You're going to think about your beliefs. You're going to think about God, and then you're going to try to make this fit into that. And there's going to be conflict. I think a lot of people
won't be able to make it fit.
Yeah, it's going to make people think about it for the first time, and they're going to have an awakening and go, fuck.
Just to be clear, the only position I'm defending is like I don't think these religions are going to collapse. I think you're right that they're going to take massive hits and people are going to have to.
I'm not saying they're going to collapse like in on themselves and cease to exist. Like I'm not that dumb.
They may go from 4 billion people to 3.9.
They're going to have a lot more competition with the new religions based around the aliens.
1 billion at most if they have 4 now.
When I jumped in on the fire side, I thought like we were saying religion is just gonna cease to exist. My only perspective, it's gonna take a fucking hit. But
Religion will survive everything. Religion will survive everything, but it is going to become like the ability to maintain belief is going to be very difficult in the face of that information. Just period.
Everyone's aware of Warhammer, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're good.
I just think it's funny that we started the conversation off with saying, like, this is going to be the death of religion. And I said, no, religion is going to take a major hit, but it's not going to be the death of religion. To now the entire panel agrees this isn't going to be a death of religion, but religion is going to take a major hit. I'm glad that we took this long side tour around to come back to my original point.
We did it, Sprouticus. We brought them back on point.
I do think that it is.
I literally said it from the beginning. I said it from the beginning. I know I used the word, it's going to be the death. But to be clear, I was very clear from the jump that I'm saying religion's not going to die. You're going to lose at least half of your followers. I've been saying that for a very long time. At least half.
I think it's the poison seed that'll eventually lead to the death of religion.
It's the death knell, yes.
Like you're going to take a huge hit, and then the people that left, there's going to be conflict. When people leave a big group like that, there's going to be conflict, like intergroup conflict. A lot of people aren't going to be able to be moved. There's going to be people who still like are kind of on the fence, but they're going to go over because they don't want to be part of the now out group. Then there's going to be people that start a religion based around the aliens because that's what we fucking do.
Right, they're going to worship the new powerful beings or their creators.
I think the Abrahamic religions just eventually get pushed out between people like rationalizing aliens and not being able to come to terms with it, people having to move away from it because none of their friends and family are religious anymore. And then just like new faiths, they're going to crop up around this. And I think it's just going to Christianity or the Abrahamic religions won't fit in the new worldview.
Yeah, they become as relevant as like modern paganism, Druidism. Like, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody who believes in those things. I don't care what anybody's belief systems are, but like, you're gonna have that level of like prevalence in society eventually if you're confronted with a being of that type.
I don't think like Christianity's gonna.
I also hold on.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to. No, you're fine. You're fine.
My bad,
I just want to touch back, and I do want to say, Sproticus, I wasn't trying to interrupt you earlier. I apologize. The second time when you said thank you, you paused quite a while. I was genuinely replying at that point. So my bad. I do want to keep it as respectful as we can.
Y'all are so fucking nice. This is nice.
This is a great. This is always a chill space.
Is this not nice, bro?
Being here.
Too much weed to stay mad unless President Sunday's here. Okay.
You got so many great people in this room. Thank everybody that's viewing. Thank everybody for putting in the input on these topics. It's been great so far.
I have never been in a room with Sprout and heard so many apologies. That's all I'm saying. This is crazy.
No,
we're living it up today, Sprout.
Sprouts, he's just into it. We're all into it. It's cool.
So I'm not. That wasn't a strike against him.
I do want to touch on something you said. Is that you talked about like when we encountered Indian people in the New World, right? Mm-hmm. And then you talked about slavery. I think that you're sort of feeding
Native Americans.
Not necessarily. Yeah. I'm not the one that brought up slavery. What basically what I brought up.
Slavery was brought up, but subjugation in general, right? Like we can disagree. Subjugation was brought up. The point being that we encountered beings that when they were first encountered, people did not know who they were. They were actually perceived as something unnatural, right? We know that that's how the first people perceived them. They also saw them as lower life forms and treated them as such. And then subjugated them. So I think that trying to compare the reaction to that to the comparison that to how people would react to a like definitively superior being is going to be a really difficult thing. So I think you're drawing on the most natural thing historically that you can, but I think it's really difficult to try to flip that on its head and say, what if it was the other way around and this being was just entirely in every measurable way superior? And I don't know. I
guess
create one-to-one comparisons.
Hey, Sprout, I guess that brings up a question. Can I bring up like my one issue with that? Then I'll let you address it after that.
Please do.
Okay, cool. So that brings me to my one question, right? You know people. I know people. Especially like people from like combatant countries that aren't very strong. And I don't know what part of human race is going to be like, you know what? You're obviously stronger than I am. I give up. I've subject myself to your rules. Like the human race is gonna like do everything they can to beat the ever loving fuck out of these aliens, and it's gonna turn into a war. It's gonna turn into a war.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I absolutely think that we whip the guns out, we whip the nukes out, we do what we do, we yeehaw that motherfucker, we start getting lassos out, and then we find out that we lose to psionic blades. Like I think that's how that happens. I think we yeehaw and whoop it up. But I think after they beat the shit out of us, if they let us survive, they don't let religion survive, right? Like after you lose that war, some kind of religion probably survives. And I actually think you'd probably have to found some new religion like to keep society moving forward. You're going to have
That's when religion would be the strongest.
But I don't think it would be Abrahamic. I think it would be a completely new religion born out of the completely new world. But I do think religion survives. So going back to my initial hyperbolic sentiment that religion dies, that is incorrect. I was being hyperbolic. I am saying it's probably the death knell for what we see as religion today. To be clear.
Go ahead, Pyro.
Yeah, so like the reason I wanted to like push back against that, because like I recognize that we're talking in like the super hyperbolics. We're talking about psionic blades and Dalek invasions, and like we're talking about scenarios where the
let me get a bolt rifle.
like we're talking about scenarios where the obvious endpoint is the extinction of mankind unless we capitulate, because we live in the real world. There is no, we're pulling resources from Mars or Luna and shit. Like if we meet that shit right now, we're fucked. Like so like when I said like, you know, we can look at the historical allegories of when we like and I agreed with Spartacus, like in a more realistic scenario like we were talking about earlier, where like there's the possibility of like peaceful interaction and shit like that. And yes, I realize I'm like changing the parameters a bit, like, but when we're talking about like a more realistic scenario and shit, like where either people have time to like adjust to the fact that there's like an invasion fleet on the way, or like maybe they're peaceful. Yeah, I think these religions will find ways to incorporate that into like their theology and shit. And I do believe like you're right in the sense that like these religions will change. They won't be what we recognize today as Christianity. They'll be something like we would we would criticize it like the like Church of, you know, Scientology. They'd be saying some shit along there where it's like, and God then sent aliens to try and wipe out mankind, and and it'd be some really weird shit like that. It'd be like the third book of Revelations or something.
That is kind of what Scientology is.
And to be super clear, that's kind of what
I'm saying. It is an alien religion.
Right, like I very specifically specified if like a fucking Protoss zealot was in Times Square, right? Like I'm making this very specific for a reason. And I actually tried to stay away from the Protoss zealot angle. Y'all seem to want to push for this. I really wanted to do the long distance, like, hey, let's play telephone thing. Like I wanted to talk about it on that level because I think that's where the more interesting conversation lies, because I think the obvious answer, if we have an invasion fleet, an exploratory fleet, someone coming through the galaxy that any asshole with a telescope can see, any of those scenarios, you got to tell the people. You can't let Jimmy from Arkansas find out and tell the people. You just can't. So I agree. I don't think there's much interesting to explore there. I think what's far more
we can demonize and pretend he's lying.
Yeah, for sure, and we could talk about that. But like, and you're gonna have, and even if you had indisputable evidence, you're gonna deal with fake news, right? Like that's part of the problem is what information is correct, the inability to parse it. That's kind of why I don't like it. But I think the far more interesting conversation lies within the design of the SETI system, which is to make contact early and from a long distance, which is why I liked this prompt. And then how do we handle that? If we make early contact from a long distance with, say, a peaceful species that does not have a space navy or a space force, they're not coming here, right? How do we handle that? That's I think the more interesting question. But
for me, I think I like covered this in my opening, and I know it was a long opening, but like I think you let that information out as soon as possible, because right now we don't have that shit either. So for me, it's like it's best we fight our wars and shit now and get that idea of conquest out of our heads. And like hopefully the conquest nation doesn't win, because like I'm not going to be able to say like if America's going to be the good guy or not. But like hopefully the peaceful alternative wins out, because like the idea of starting up a worldwide war industry based around going and trying to fuck up a, you know, peaceful alien species because we have our doubts would be a bit fucky. And like that's the thing, we don't really take for granted the words of others. Like they may say they're peaceful, but the ultimate question is, will we believe they're peaceful? How many people on earth are willing to believe they're peaceful? And then what we do in the response. So I think telling people as soon as possible so we can get that hump out of the way, because it's going to be devastation. There's going to be riots. There's going to be destabilization in countries and shit. Like I think we need to get that shit out of the way first before we're thinking about making contact first.
Okay, so I think we're pretty good on the
I'm not making contact first, but like fucking releasing that information. Sorry.
So let's take into account each individual government and how each of those governments would react and how that would weigh in on what happens with first contact.
Sorry, repeat that.
So
three different things.
Every government, let's say if everybody, this was knowledge, everybody knows that there are extraterrestrials. So it comes down to each government's response. Some may be hostile, some may be positive. What would happen in this scenario?
We'd go to war with each other.
We gotta go back to the beginning, like, and this is shit that like Parallax brought up when it comes to specifics. How close are they? Like, are they like he said, are they a peaceful alien species on the planet Zorbulapa? You know, 25.
Let's say we have no understanding of how long before they would get here. We just know they know about us and we are in contact.
some people, if some governments were hostile and some governments wanted to be subservient and some governments wanted to cooperate, they're going to go to war with each other. If they're convinced that, like, if we're not hostile, we're all going to die. If they're convinced that we're not subservient, we're all going to die. If they're convinced that, like, we have to cooperate, or like, and you could substitute die for, like, our way of life is ruined. We're going to start killing each other so that way we do what we think is right in relation to the aliens. That's what people do.
So I actually fundamentally disagree with you here, and the reason
real quick.
I'm already doing the same thing. If you don't mind.
well, like I know you're about to give like a hyper specific one that like I might be wrong about, so like I want to give my disagreement first and then let you correct me.
Go ahead, but I'm going really broad. Go ahead.
Got you. I think we could look at that and say, yeah, like we're gonna like, you know, do a lot of violence towards each other. I've been harping on that same point. I'm not gonna walk it back. It's gonna be a disaster. But I think like one of the immediate things that's gonna happen, and it's gonna like start a lot of this conflict, is just that like countries without nukes they're just gonna be like left out of this conversation. When we talk about how our response is going to be, we're going to be
left out of most conversations. We know that.
Like we're going to be asking, like, this is going to be one though where they're like, no, we need to be at this table. This is going to be one where there's like, we can't ignore it. They're going to be throwing the most biggest hissy fit.
So, I think I wholesale disagree with where you went with this, Eldrazi, which I really like because I don't usually disagree with you this like staunchly. I actually think the only hope for uniting all of humanity and like literally ending things like racial divide is an extraterrestrial threat. I think it's the only chance we have of ever being united.
Ozymandias was wrong.
I was about to say, I think you've been reading Watchmen a little too.
No, actually, it's got nothing to do with Watchmen. I've never read it. I've never read Watchmen. Read Watchmen, and I think I've seen.
This was an idea, and it did not work.
It came out, thought it sucked. Okay, of course, good.
I'm glad it sucked.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was pretty
good. Oh, the movies. Watch the show.
Yeah, that's like I said. I haven't. Okay, I'll have to give it a watch. But my point being, and I could be wrong, because I think once that threat goes away, obviously the vestiges of those things remain, right? But if we had an actual like Halo style Covenant conflict where it's like ongoing, I think that's the only hope to ever end divide amongst humanity, at least insofar as you can. Our first instinct was ever to divide, right? Like our first instinct was this cave woman mine, not yours. This fire mine, not yours. I killed that tiger, not you, right? We've been dividing since day. No, it's actually not wrong. Chimps divide. Our first instinct was to choose this is mine, it's not yours. That is absolutely one of our first instincts. It's like fucking fight and divide. Like that's it. Fuck, fight, divide, and eat. Like
no, I disagree with that. Like there's been recent findings in like Neanderthal and Australopithecus where it's like, oh no, they don't. They actually are really more communal than we thought they once were.
I'm aware. There have been full communities found in Russia. A full community was just found, the first family unit. But a family unit doesn't mean we didn't divide. They were a family unit. They still had tribes, other things that were found, neighboring tribes that they weren't homies with. We divide. That's what we've always done. So that's just how we've always been. It's how we're always going to be. And I think as long as
that's
there's
more
not
down to competition for shit, but like I'll let you continue.
I think as long as there's no external threat whatsoever, there's no reason for us not to fight amongst one another. So I think in the circumstance where every government knows, there's a presupposition built into that like there is something that every government can observe, right? So we have to suppose that they're on their way observably. If every government knows under this proposition, right? So taking that into account, yeah, I think we're fucked. I think that the only hope is that the UN and world leaders somehow actually agree on how to handle it, and there's no fucking way, because we're going to be like, nuke those motherfuckers before they get past Venus, okay? And China's gonna be like, let them get a little closer. We don't want to miss. Like,
we want some technology. Like,
everybody's gonna have. Yeah, China's gonna be like, our chips are a little cheaper. Let them get a little closer. Let them get to Mars. You know, and it's just everybody's gonna have a say in it. I don't think it'll work out, but the only hope ever is that we somehow agree on the response.
Yeah, you're predicating your idea based on the only hope we have, and I'm saying there is no fucking hope in this situation. We're gonna fuck it up. Now, we might be able to unite before the internet, is like it is, but if the internet is the way it is, everybody's gonna be losing their mind. Governments are gonna get freaked out by their people because the people are gonna be freaking out. There's gonna be a lot of motherfuckers with guns telling their senators, "You better do what the fuck we say," because militias are cropping up everywhere now. Especially in the United States, it's gonna get crazy everywhere. And if another country is gonna threaten the action that we think is right, we're gonna fuck them up, and they're gonna try to fuck us up, and it's just gonna be a shit show. The internet fucking ruins all that. We can't shape a narrative.
To be clear, I just think that there is one like out of 99 paths.
I respect the aspiration of hope. Yeah, you have the aspiration of hope. I have
You're smart. I got you. Okay.
No, I think that it's good to go like, well, this is what I hope for.
Give up. No, but I should have given up years ago. I'm 34 and way too hopeful.
But what I think and what I hope for are always two different things.
Yeah, what I think is we're fucked. What I hope for is that we,
So you don't actually disagree with me. You just aspire to greater, imagination, hopes for humanity.
Yeah, I think that. So I guess my disagreement is that it's 100% locked in that we're fucked. I think we're probably fucked, but I hope and I think there's like a tiny little chance.
I can accept that.
Like maybe if Comey didn't release the emails level chance.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like the slimmest of margins, like we got 36 hours not to fuck this up.
Listen, that's why I said for the last hour or so was it I don't think this is we're just gonna have to tell motherfucker because it's gonna we're going to fight with ourselves. I don't think
that's why I said the more interesting question is the sentient being far away, right?
Yeah. I think even with the sentient being far away, the second part that Waterkai brought in, what's going to happen, I think either way it's we're going to have this conversation, and then like you both said, we're going to be fucked. We're just going to have the conversation, and not many people are going. Everyone's going to want to have their own vested interest. I think we're just going to have that fight. I don't think we're going to wipe ourselves out, or at least I would hope not. But I think we're just going to have that fight amongst yo, what the fuck do we do with peaceful aliens from the planet Zyklon B? That's just gonna be something we fight about.
Interesting
choice
my
of
hope
name.
is
that we just.
That's
my
assuming...
hope is that we just don't fucking tell people, so we don't fight about it. That's what I want.
I guess that's assuming though that
themselves, right?
I guess that's assuming though that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Spartacus.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's making.
Handle it. That's a worthy discussion.
That's making the assumption that these aliens are coming in peace. If these aliens come down and strike us, the entire world's going to unite against them.
For sure. Yeah.
There's no better saying than the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Well, that's a whole different scenario, isn't it? Because that depends on how far away. Before we get information, if they 10 light years. If they 10 light years away and we got time,
let's say
time to unite.
They have technology good enough to fold space and to show up right over our skies. And start getting down.
I will tell you exactly what.
Good talk. It was nice to know you all. I'm gonna go spend a night with my wife because we done.
No. I'll tell you exactly.
That's who they are. We're fucked.
Parallax is wrong. He's not going to spend the night with his wife.
Yeah, because we're dead before that.
He's going to look up in shock and then be immediately enslaved and or killed at the same time. Because that's what I was getting at. If they're motherfuckers that are just here, there is no what does humanity do? It's everyone firing their nukes off at the same thing, praying for the best, and then we get flattened. If it's the niggas with the scythe sword we were talking about, if it's the Daleks, if it's niggas from Warhammer 40k, we're just kind of fucked if they show up on our doorstep and they're hostile.
Imagine having technology that good and you want humans to be your slaves? The things that bitch and moan and fuck off and lie and cheat and steal? I think that, if they want to enslave us, we might actually have a chance because they're pretty fucking stupid.
That's not... Listen. I'll give you that. Listen. You time out. You say that, I'll give you 2 words. Enhanced lobotomy. Okay?
I'll give you 2 more words. Advanced robotics. Why would you want human slaves?
Yeah, there's
we gotta sleep, we shit, we eat.
There's actually merit to this argument. If there is an intelligent species that observes this fucking panel and goes, those are the motherfuckers I want working for me.
Oh no, we'll be.
They're not that. They're not that fucking smart. Nah, he said enslaved. They're not that fucking. We're not that. Brother, I'm on this panel. I'm not good food. Stop it. I'm not good food. I am unhealthy for you.
We'll be the things called example. We'll be these things called examples for the smarter motherfuckers. No, I'm joking.
Bro, they see me, they are passing on. No.
But like that,
I'm
that's
out.
that's the crux of it, right? Like
I am neither food nor work.
If they're hostile, like if they're really backwards in the fact that they do have the advanced thing and they want to enslave us, or like they just want to kill us and take our resources on the planet, it's just like, well, whatever reason they come here and they're hostile, it doesn't matter. We're just going to be fucked if they can fold space and time and be here in the snap of my. We're just fucked, buddy. They're here. They're next to me right now.
Like, or they were already in Antarctica. They're chilling underwater and they decided to pop up and we just didn't know.
Yeah, like if they're on that level, but they're also somehow dumb enough to decide we have value, I think there's merit to the argument that I might get a hold of their time jumper warp space folder and fucking go to their planet and blow them up. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I was saying.
I might be able to outwit motherfuckers that have that level of technology, but are dumb enough to think I'm either nutritious food or intelligent value to them.
See, I don't like that argument for the sole reason,
or
like,
that I'm built for stamina to be labor. I got nothing to bring to the table for a fucking species. Come on,
I don't like looking at it like that, because it's like I kind of just like, bro, like we can think about it as intelligence, meaning like the knowledge and like actual fucking, smarts to cost benefit analysis this shit, but like if you got the technology and like your species is advanced, but like they basically the big bully at the playground, and they got a magnifying glass, and buddy, you're a really nice looking anthill. Like, does it fucking matter?
You don't like thinking about it, but truth's uncomfortable.
Like, and that's the thing I'm getting at. Like, they don't need to necessarily be what we think of as a smart, intelligent, wizened being. They could just be more higher tech than us with the same level of dumb fuck shit we do. We're smart as shit. We observe the planet, but we're fucking killing it, bro. There's no planet B. We're killing our own planet, and there's no planet B, but we're intelligent beings.
But if you're leveling the intelligence playing field, the technology doesn't matter because I could get it in my hands. That's literally what we're saying. Is like if you're leveling the intelligence playing field, you're actually
I don't consider first communication leveling the playing field, but I do. If we're leveling the playing field and like we can like reverse engineer, you're right about that.
Not even reverse engineer. I just need to get one of yours. All I need to do is get one of yours, take one of my nukes to your planet, and blow it up. I'm good. I'll go down for y'all. Listen,
Bro,
listen. I need one of you to fill in for me Friday on Wick's panel, okay? Because I'm going to planet Zyklon B.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Stop calling it that.
With the space folder. Okay.
Oh shit! I just realized what Zyklon B is. Holy shit.
I'm just.
Yes.
I have commented several times about this.
I'm so sorry. When you take that time, when you see that abandoned time ship and you jump into fucking Skaro, right? Like, and you miss and you hit a fucking asteroid because you didn't know how to drive that shit, you'll understand why, like, just being able to get a hold of it don't mean you good at it. There was always that one motherfucker who got a hold of a gun that's like, ooh, what's down here? Bam.
Yeah, I'm not saying the person who gets a hold of it doesn't fuck it up. I'm just saying you are now giving us a window of opportunity that we should not be granted in this discussion.
I mean, ultimately, we just germ warfare the hell out of them. I'm that asshole. But that's my answer.
Yeah, give them COVID.
Yeah, give them COVID real quick. Let them run that
for 2 years, and we got lots of time to prep.
Oh my gosh.
We refer to this as the Batman
let's do it.
strategy for alien invasions.
We introduce them to the concept of religion. It's just like, which one do you think is the best? I think Thor is. Like, we play it off like it's a Marvel Universe thing, and we're just like, no, these are actual religions, bro. Like, it's between Iron Man, Thor, Zeus, and Ben Franklin. Who's the best?
No, what we do. Here's what we do.
Even though that hurt. I know it hurt, but I know it was funny.
Here's what we do, right? So we just act ourselves, and the second anyone sees an alien, it's mandatory. We all have to carry robes in our backpacks. Second anyone sees an alien, we all just put robes on and walk around like we're monks, and just like start getting like as deep like theologically, or sorry, not theologically, philosophically, as philosophically deep as we can with these aliens, and just act like we're a very peaceful, philosophical people, and
They
just
don't know
hope
what
they
we're
leave.
saying, and most people wouldn't stop shooting each other.
I mean, depending on their anatomy, I'd just vote for just them getting them laid.
I mean, a 6-year-old recently shot a teacher.
Nah, I'm gonna say it right now. If they don't like fucking James Cameron aliens, like,
Dude, don't say that
first
right before class.
First contact can be first contact if you know what I'm saying. Like,
apologies, Rev.
About to say they already hate me. Good God.
Well, you don't have any of I'm not gonna say the word. I'm not gonna say. You know the word I'm thinking.
They're angels. I talk a bunch of shit, but they're awesome.
We're not gonna turn it into that panel.
Actually, speaking of that, they're gonna be clawing at the door in a little bit. I love y'all. Hold it down.
Thanks for being here, Rev.
Don't get into anything that I'm gonna have to act like I don't know y'all if y'all talk about. All right?
What are you talking about?
We started that way
the whole time, bro.
Oh yeah, we started that. But you notice I fell completely into silence. I was like, y'all ain't gonna even have a single clip of me talking during that.
You didn't talk during the alien shit either.
Hey,
my man was like,
he's playing extra
I get in where I fit in.
He's like, BC
all right, y'all.
me out.
Yeah, I was like, nope.
Thank you again, Rev.
Take it easy, man.
All right, y'all, hold it down.
I got 10 more minutes in me before I gotta go to bed. I got work at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, all good. Well, we did have another topic, which was really fun, and I wish you could.
I'll be here for it.
Listen, what's the other topic?
It is religious organizations that spread their personal politics and misinformation to their congregations. What should we do about these cults?
Can I just say that I have the perfect segue for this, which is that if the aliens come, I'm going to go to a church and claim sanctuary. They can't fuck with me there.
Bet. That's a note. That's a safe space. You can't touch.
I sure hope so.
It's the magic tree and tag. You can't hurt. We're in a safe space with the tag. I like the way Parallax.
Yo, when that alien shows up and the preacher's like, "No, sanctuary," he'll respect it.
So currently, we have preachers like Robin Bullock, who's a large internet personality, who makes claims like when Trump will be back in office, whether or not COVID is a thing. You have people like Kat Kerr that go out into the wilderness and wave staves at thunderstorms and tell them that their property is going to be safe. And they're basically raking in tons of money from the congregations. They're putting dates on their prophecies, and the prophecies don't come through. They move the goalpost. So what do we do about this?
Continue to laugh, in my opinion, because like,
yeah,
we kind of already touched on this. Like, there's no end to this, right? Like, this isn't gonna stop. This, in the same way that like aliens aren't actually going to stamp out religion as a whole, we are never, like, these guys are the minority already. They're going to stay the minority. However, I do think it's a problem, but I honestly think it's one of those things where we have to socially mock the people dumb enough to fall into this until they realize that it's such a fucking joke and stop doing it. I don't think there's a logistical solution that involves legislation. People are stupid. People are just fucking stupid.
I agree with Parallax. I think that the answer to your question, Waterkai, is simply nothing. Like, there's nothing legislatively that we can do unless these people are like, you know, the big churches that are unironically like defrauding their congregation and shit and selling them up. Like, if they're doing some shit where like they're trying to sell motherfuckers on stocks and shit or shit like that, where like they're breaking laws, then like sure they can be taken into account. But like if they're just saber rattling and talking like, yo, free speech, you allowed to say this shit. If motherfuckers are willing to put money into the golden pot when they say, and now we need your funds so God can stay strong, you're allowed to. If grandma wants to be conned that way and her family's okay with that, like, there's not really anything we can do to legislate that away. Like Parallax said, these motherfuckers are already the minority, like, and they're shrinking. Motherfuckers are getting more and more, you know, non-religious as we speak with every new generation and shit. And, you know, so it just seems there's just going to be a minority of people who are con men and then a minority of people who buy the snake oil. And at that point, it's like, you choose to buy it, you choose to buy it. If you choose to follow him after he told you the world would end on the 17th and it's now the 20th, well then, buddy, like that's on you. Like
Just
I can't
Andrew Tate
legislate
with a
that
white
away.
collar, brother.
I can't legislate that away from you. It's a problem, yes, but we can't legislate that away if people are going to put money willingly into the collection plate.
Enjoy your mega church, your jet, and your Gucci suit that you're preaching, and your Tate in a collar. Yeah, I don't think we can solve it. I think that like you could do anything you want to do to change this, but like dumb people exist, and they're gonna find other dumb shit to give their money to. I'd honestly rather they give it to a dumb preacher than give it to like a fucking dumb terrorist. I don't know, some other crazy ideologue.
I don't know. I think that I think that it's proven if you're trying to like use your church for political reasons. One, because I am a Christian, I don't think a church should be used politically. As Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's. But the second part, have a good one, man. The second part of that is the churches aren't taxed because of separation of church and state. So if a church wants to stick its head where the state should be, then I think the church that specific church should be taxed, and taxed like a normal business.
Based, yes, tax the churches. I think that even if we can't tax the churches because people are going to cry about it, I think we need to tax evangelical money beggars. I think if you're going to, like, you're not the church. You're literally not. You are just somebody asking for money, and I don't think that you should have the same protections as the church does.
So I think wait, talk about when you say that, right? So what exactly are you talking about?
Do you mind if I clarify that for you, Elder Jossie? Because I can know what you mean.
Sure, go ahead, and if you're wrong, I'll correct.
Yeah, I think he means like if you are like specifically referring to like there's some pretty famous videos. One of them is a guy being interviewed in a deposition where he's talking about like Gucci suits he bought, multiple cars, all these kinds of things. If you're the specifically the guy, right? If you're the guy saying give me the money and then you're going out and you're the preacher and you're spending all that money, like you're just a fucking con man in a collar. That's all you are. Be taxed is what he's saying. Like, so if you're making above, I don't know, probably $60,000 or $70,000 as a preacher, start paying taxes.
Yeah, have you seen the Royal Gemstones?
I think we could up that amount to 120,000. Because like it depending on where you live, right?
Yeah.
I don't care how much you're making. Pay the fucking taxes on it.
Because if you're a preacher, if you're a preacher and you actually take care of your congregation, you're not like Joel Osteen, right? We're not talking about Joel Osteen here. We're talking about like the actual preachers who have like their churches, and you don't know these people because they take care of the churches, right? So
that guy
why would they have to pay tax on their salary? Because there is a separation of church and state, unless you're willing to completely shatter the separation of church and state.
Oh well, first of all,
go
ahead.
Go ahead, Elder Jossie.
Okay, so first of all, he's not a church. It's the church's employee, for lack of a better term. Either way, I think that there is value to saying, hey, we have a big fucking problem here, and we need to take care of it. We can say that. I mean, you can make this law and go, okay, there's still separation of church and state. However, church employee incomes are not going to be covered by separation of church and state.
Fine. They'll go back to the way they used to pay pastors. They will buy the pastor's house for the pastor, and they will give the pastor a certain budget that they can use out of the church's money that is tax-free.
Yeah, and
they'll just change the way they pay them.
I think the reasonable way to approach this is to understand, again, this is something that we've codified fairly well, that we have some tax exemptions for churches, and we just need to define that there's a certain amount of money that is okay for a preacher to make to sustain a livelihood without taxation by giving his time if his church is compliant and they're, 501c 19 or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know, whatever that stupid fucking charity form is.
501c3.
Yeah, nailed it. Okay, I just added extra numbers. 501c3. if they're filing that correctly and adhering to all of the things that they're supposed to, if they're doing charitable works, if they're giving back to the community, if they're providing Sunday school services, if they're doing all of the things a church is supposed to do to maintain their tax haven, okay, I think that some of that should be extended to the preacher. For the reason that, like, a lot of I think that people don't understand, and I'm not religious now, but I grew up around churches. I think very few people understand what a preacher's time is actually spent doing. Very little of their time is spent focusing on themselves and their family. They don't have a lot of time to themselves. They spend a lot of time dealing with their congregation's problems. They spend a lot of time dealing with community problems. They spend a lot of time cleaning the church and getting it ready for service, cleaning the kitchen in Sunday school. The lady who didn't have time after she made 57 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches didn't have time to clean up afterwards. Like, these people, if this is the person we're talking about whose actual salary is 20 grand and he's relying on Granny's $10 every Sunday to get to the 70 grand he might make, I'm totally cool with not taxing that dude. He's awesome.
I think there's a big problem.
The lead pastor at my church, his salary is like I think like 14 grand or something like that, a year. Yeah, it's like these are people you talk about taxing, right? Like I don't.
Yeah,
first off, I don't think I could survive off 14 grand a year, right? But
so should we not tax anybody who makes 14 grand a year?
No, but what I'm saying is these people are like their entire job is to give. Their entire job is to it's for the community, right? And so I think that if your entire job is for the community, if you are like if you're essentially the 501c3, that I don't think that your income should be taxed. Or if you're gonna say tax their income, then I would agree with churches that pay them differently and just say, okay, you're allotted this much of the church's budget for expenses.
I guess if it's about how much you do for the community, then like what about EMTs? What about city workers? Like I just don't understand. Like there are more noble jobs than things that pastors do, and there are certainly things on par. But we're not bringing these other people into the conversation, so they shouldn't be taxed either. And like, but how does this account for like shittier pastors that don't really do that much? It's a really weird value judgment to say like certain people shouldn't be taxed based on the type of work they do. But the only reason that they ever got it to begin with is this like protection for church. But like church isn't anything like what it used to be. Churches never, like, there was no millionaire pastors. There was no like pastors that were living like high above people when we created these laws.
You're talking about the offshoots.
Oh, okay,
these are like the ones and twos out of
these are the ones that we're really concerned about too.
We're kind of off track in the sense that I'm talking about people like Kenneth Copeland, who blew on COVID.
Yeah, you're more concerned about like predictive preaching and
put his congregation at risk of not understanding the dangers of COVID. There's things like that.
Sure. I think that people in positions of power over people like this that use it to manipulate them, when there's shown to be true harm done, I think that we should do it in like we treat every other circumstance where somebody has like a great level of power over somebody and they abuse it to cause them harm. I think there should be an investigation, and if they think that, and if we come to the conclusion that something really bad was done in like an abuse of power, then we should treat it as such and take legal action against them.
That's mainly what I'm talking about, is when it starts to harm the social good, or possibly does it even harm the social good? So when preachers are pushing a particular politician and their politics are also involved in that, it becomes a political and religious fervor. You believe that God put this person in place. You believe that God gave this person power to do this thing and get rid of this problem.
Okay, so
well, the Bible specifically teaches that every person who has political power that the political power was given by God.
Well, the Bible also teaches that everything is like God's design. It's all part of God's plan too, right?
It also teaches that there are no false prophets, and yet we're talking about false prophets in the nature of the question. So,
are they false prophets? I can't necessarily say.
Where does it say there's no false prophets?
It specifically says that there will be false prophets.
Yeah. Yes, no. Yes. I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't see why. I don't think that a worker of the church should have any special protections, really, whether it be taxes or whether it be an abuse of power. I think that we should understand that the kind of power that religious figures have over their congregation, and we should absolutely be able to hold them legally accountable for an abuse of that power. And if we want separation of church and state, I think that the church should probably play ball on that in that respect as well. I don't think it should just be on the government. I think that if the church wants to start bringing politics and things like that into it, like maybe you're not just a church, maybe you're kind of like a politics social club. Like it doesn't really seem like what's happening here is all religious based. I think there's a lot more things that we need to take into account, and that we need to be able to hold religious figures accountable. As it stands, so they just sort of get a free pass to do whatever the fuck they want, and it kind of freaks me out.
So, two-parter. First of all, I agree wholesale, and that's where I was going to go before I had the crack in the mental dam there. I meant to say, it specifically says that we should not follow false prophets, and yet this is the nature of this conversation: is that there are massive amounts of people following false prophets, right? And what is this creating, right? So, yeah, I said it.
I guess it also says we shouldn't sin. But like, I guess I don't get your point there, because it was also prophesied that we would follow false prophets, that we would follow false prophets. So,
right, but if we're
kind of missing the point, I guess.
No, I think if we're actually discussing the false prophets, it's very much to the point, right? Like you're already. So the point I'm making is that you've already fallen prey to the thing that the Bible says you shouldn't fall prey to.
I would say some have, yes, and I would say that it needs to be called out.
Not you. Yes. Those people that are contributing to this, right? Like that's the problem. That's the nature of the problem. Is these people have already fallen prey to the issue that the Bible has already laid out. I'm just a retard and said it the other way.
So actually, Sprout, you're the religious guy here. How should we hold people in religious positions of power accountable for abuse of their power? Because as a non-religious person, I would think that abusing your status like this would be like particularly egregious, kind of like a cop who breaks the law. How we would hold them to a higher account. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I think that ministers or preachers should be held to a higher standard in regarding of their status as a preacher if they're found doing something like I don't even care if it's first offense, right? But if they're found doing something such as like fraud, or I don't know, something intentionally to hurt the maybe not even intentionally hurt, but it is an intentional action that ended up like hurting the congregation or hurting the community, then I would definitely say that, yeah, there needs to be some way that we can give like the pastors a worse punishment. Like hit them with the max because of their position of power, right?
Based, yeah. Bare minimum, you lose your job. Bare minimum.
Bare minimum, you definitely lose your job. Your church for a little bit should lose your tax exempt status. You lose your tax exempt status, and you owe taxes on the income you generate. You know what I mean? Like all kinds of things like that, like secondary sanctions, if you will. And I also think that we should really treat this akin to how we, this should not be protected free speech. We should treat this like screaming fire in a crowded theater. This is not okay. This is not okay to stir up this level of panic. And then when the time comes and passes, you just move the panic ball down the field and you kick the can further. This should absolutely be treated as unprotected speech and should be prosecutable.
Well, yeah, it can't be protected free speech because the separation then. I think that separation needs to be a double-edged sword then.
I mean, separation is a double-edged sword. I mean,
yeah, but I feel like both. I feel like it very rarely comes into play where religion seems to get all the protections of the law, but it doesn't have any of like the things that we don't like about the law, like being held accountable to it. It seems like they get away with like way more than everybody else does, but don't have to like pay into the system like everybody else does, which I think is bad.
I think it's a fair criticism.
I think it's fair, yeah.
Like we don't need, nobody even needs me to say like the big problem that we've historically had with the church, and like most of the time like what ends up happening is people bitch and moan about it when it's like one of the most egregious things that happen, period. And like we all know it's a problem, and like fuck all really gets done about it. It's kind of scary. So I'm glad that there's no like contention here. I just think that we just need to we need to crack down on it. It scares me.
Yeah, I think that's honest and it was a fair observation. It does seem that religion seems to only benefit from like all of the best things that government wants to provide in terms of tax breaks, in terms of literal havens, both in terms of tax and other types. And even in some modern countries, you can still claim sanctuary. You know what I mean? There's actual havens in church statuses. I think that there are absolutely an argument to be made that we should re-examine church through the lens of it is benefiting from government. How can it contribute back to some degree in the modern context? Because I think the original notion of not taxing the church was based upon the fact that all churches were like all communities were reliant upon their church. All communities were reliant upon those specific good acts, those charities, and I think there are plenty of churches that are not doing enough for their community to justify not paying into the system. I think if you can justify that your church is contributing to a minimum amount, you absolutely shouldn't pay taxes because that's the nature of taxation. Is it's going to go back to the community. It's going to help build infrastructure. So if you're taking part in the community, you've got a food pantry, you're doing Sunday school services, you're provide rides to your people to congregation, maybe even rides for kids to school, whatever it is. There's a lot of things churches.
If you're
do.
acting like a charity,
Meals on
treat you like a
Wheels,
charity.
Yeah. Meals on Wheels, all that shit. Absolutely. Mad respect. Boots up. Don't tax the pastor. I love you guys. I listen, you guys are awesome. Keep it up. I love your work. But otherwise, if you fall into just kind of the show up on Sunday, preach, sell some bagels and coffee. I don't know why that's such a big thing at churches now. Fucking cafes in the church, but okay. It's weird. Yeah, if that's your stick, pay your taxes, man.
Based, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. We're all in agreement here.
That it's to a great degree.
To disagree. He's like, damn,
Sprout does kind of seem to want
he's
to.
He's like, I want to, but this makes sense.
There's little things here and there, but I don't really think it's ever anything big enough for me to really truly bring something out of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
like,
sure,
there's
like-
things that I'll hear where I have there's like that pull to
Like-
say something, but it's like actually legit. Okay,
It's like a little itch, like
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I feel you.
Yeah, because
Oh, got a great one from the chat. So, how do you verify it is acting like a charity versus a revenue stream to their select company? And chat says Parallax is right. Churches don't act like charities.
Yeah, most don't.
That's good.
Most don't. And again, I think that verifying it you would have to like literally be able to look at the community. You'd have to actually look at what the church is doing in the community. Does this church and I'm not saying it has to hit all of these metrics, but there's all kinds of things where we send out a list of like, if you do 12 of these 27 things, you're tax exempt. Okay. Do you have a food pantry? Are you doing Sunday school services? Do you provide Meals on Wheels? Are you providing services to the elderly who can't get to hospital appointments? Like, these are all kinds of things that churches do in all kinds of communities that you could simply verify that these are services you provide on a regular basis as part of your church, as part of the financial flow of your church. Then I don't really care about the rest of your finances. I genuinely don't. I don't give a fuck if people are giving you $1 billion because you're awesome. You're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. People clearly like it. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think it's an overstep of power either. You have to verify that you're a church when you claim tax exempt anyways. And I think this would just be a more in-depth process of proving that like you are a church and you're meeting our standards for what we expect a church to do and function in society.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even that hard to prove. Like, I think, like,
Yeah.
I think you'd almost have a bigger problem if you were like the government coming after that church, because the people who
Yeah.
are getting those services would be like, hold up, wait a minute, that guy takes me to get my prescriptions. Are you serious? You're fucking with him? You're gonna have a
Well,
way
the burden
bigger
of proof
problem.
is also going to be on the government. The government's going to
Yeah.
look worse when they get it wrong.
Yep. I think that this is absolutely feasible. I think that because of that, like, almost built-in reinforcement where the government is not going to want to fuck this up, I think this is totally feasible. I think you could even get churches on board.
Churches should want to get on board. It's great. It's great press to show that you're doing good stuff.
Well, and you could even, if you're a mega church, you could even make the argument like, hey, you know what? You're right. I can't give back on this small community level anymore relative to the amount of income I take in, right? Like, I only exist within this community, and I don't have the infrastructure to just disperse this level of income, disperse this level of food, disperse this level of resources. So I'm going to pay some taxes, and maybe we even let them pay less taxes than say a corporation, God forbid. You know, I don't give a shit how we do it, but like, yeah, I think there's some merit to it for sure.
Based, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's gone in this direction. Like, people are better understanding how churches function and what we're really getting into. So when it comes down to how do I want to put this? What churches can get away with and not lose their tax exemption and what it causes.
Okay, so you kind of want to know what's the other end of it, like where are the gray lines?
Yeah, for the most part, these preachers have been able to take a political leaning and talk against a particular political wing, be it left wing or right wing. I don't care which church is doing it. If it's a progressive church talking against Republicans or vice versa, it's still an issue that they are projecting their political views onto society.
So I think if we're going to... Oh, sorry.
And that is also based on a concept that this is what their God agrees with. So it creates a different level of fervency.
So are you saying we should examine taxation through that lens, or how do we handle that just in general?
Well, taxation, or how do we handle it? Like, that may be a means of handling it, but should those churches be shut down? Should those churches be examined? Should they be, on an FBI watch list?
I think the only way that it effectively works at all is through we have to change the public idea about what is and is not acceptable in these institutions. I think that we have to do it through a lens of we want to put God back in our church and get the government out. I think that's the kind of thing that resonates with religious people. And I don't think there's any other way to do it. Like, as far as like tracking the churches that are doing bad things, you'd have to rely on self-reporting. Nobody wants to see people going into their churches. We just really have to get people to understand that we want churches to be churches. And I don't think that's too hard to accomplish with religious people.
So I do, yeah, I actually think that self-reporting would be easily accomplishable, but I think it's if I'm understanding Left's question appropriately, it seems to me that you're more focusing in on like if they're putting out a political message, if they're giving an agenda that is not religious, how do we handle that? Just broad spectrum. If that's the case,
exactly, things that are separated from the church and state.
Yeah, for me, it's as simple as you can't fucking do that. You lose your tax exempt status. You cannot fucking push agenda. Like you're a church. Go to church. You can't push politics. You fucking say you're a politician's name. Get the fuck out. That's not what you're here for.
Welcome, John.
I'll hardline that all day. Separation.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Like, bringing up politician's name is like a big no-no. But where I see us getting fuzzy, where I see us getting gray, is for like a minister to be able to like not mention like abortion, for example, like to not be able to mention abortion or something along those lines. In fear of like.
Totally cool with that.
Put a caveat on it of they can mention abortion, but they can't mention the name of the particular law that's going on in their
no
area.
Bills, no politicians, no elections, none of that shit.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. You could address the topic, but you can't necessarily address like the actual bill, vote, whatever, referendum, whatever it might be. You can't address the actual thing that's happening, but you can address the topic.
Yeah, let's keep that separation strong.
I don't even mind if it's fucking November 1st, if you're and it's Sunday and you want to be like, guys, vote with God. If you want to say it that broad spectrum, I'm cool with that, because I think that you would almost be.
What about vote with God and God would vote for that person?
Nope.
Nope, absolutely not. I think and I think the dog whistling is enough, frankly. I think you guys all know what vote with God means, and I'm okay with that. I don't think I am to be explicit. I just think that it's already implied anyway, man.
There's a call to political action there that I just think that if we're trying to set up this system, we don't want to.
They don't. Let's be honest. They don't even need to say vote for. They don't even need to say vote with God. All they have to do is put out a tweet and say be a Christian.
Yeah,
there you go.
Implied.
That's fine.
Implied.
Like.
Yeah, well, okay, there's that, but see, I will go to a topic.
Be a good Christian today.
a week ago. The other thing that you can do to kind of avoid this and make sure that they're not breaking the rules is make them file their 990s. Every other 501c3 in our country has to file what's known as a 990. It's a tax form showing where the money goes so that we can show that they're following the rules that we set up for nonprofit organizations.
Oh my God, we're 10 minutes past it. Okay.
But then we can't have parishes. We don't get parishes anymore. Come on, Jack.
Yeah, you could. Don't go there. Yeah, no, you could. My church still gets fucked in this because we're not allowed to be employees. But with that 990, at least then churches would then be held accountable. They'd have a level of transparency. On top of it, we understand that 90% of these damn sermons are video recorded and put up on fucking YouTube now. If you get caught,
let's be honest though, you're gonna end up with like some laundering there. Like you're gonna end up with like a pastor saying like, "Oh, this bottle of wine for communion." Some churches like say, because I think churches are corrupt. I think there's a lot of churches that are corrupt. I don't think Christianity itself is corrupt. But I do believe there's a lot of churches that are. But like, for a pastor to say like, oh, I bought this bottle of wine. It was a really good bottle of wine that we used for communion, and we paid this for it. Well, this is like far outstanding what they actually paid for it, right?
Yeah, but 501c3s can't get away with that. Like the nonprofit organizations that end up like teaching in Africa, all that shit that they end up being set up here in America. Like you're not allowed to like buy exorbitant plane travel, buy fucking crazy meals like that. That's not a thing. Like that's one of those things that will lose.
Well, it's for the congregation. It's not for the pastor. It's for the community.
Yeah, dude, even that they won't let you do it because like in other 501c3s, for example, like the ones that interact with people like UNICEF and World Health Organization and shit like that. Taking somebody out to something like a Michelin-starred dinner would be a normal wine and dine experience, but they can't do that on the 501c3 dime because it would lose them their tax-exempt status. They have to do that out of their own pocket.
All right, Jack, listen. I know you told me last night that you're the old man in the room, but we've moved on to when churches are fucking with politics, okay? I'm going to need you to get over the tax exemption. I'm going to need you to get over tax exemption. We moved on. I solved that.
No. But this is the same thing. This is
How you been, man? Good to see you. No, I'm fucking with you. Good to see you, man.
No, actually, I was going to point out the corruption of churches is actually something me and Phil Allegiance argued about on Ty's panel because it's like, it's the administration of churches that's the problem. It's not the people in the pews. It's the fuckers at the top that cause the issues. I think I just made Elder Drazi have an aneurysm.
Well,
the people in the pews are part of the problem too. Oh, you made a face. I'm just joking.
Oh, no, you're good.
Hey, dude, I'm very rarely angry. It's almost always joking.
Oh yeah, no, I was fucking with you, Jack. I think that as soon as you start dabbling into fucking vote for this guy, vote for that guy, or if your funds start going to political campaigns, then your funds start going to my taxes.
Yeah, I believe that religions are good for a lot of people. I believe that there are small churches that are doing great for their communities. I don't believe these people should be attacked unless they are misleading their congregations and doing things that are causing them harm.
Agreed.
Okay, would you include this with advocating for things like taking ivermectin over?
Yes, exactly. Any misinformation, anti-vaccine.
How about faith healing?
Well, why should a church be giving medical advice? Period. That seems
faith.
Exactly.
Faithium. Oh my god.
No. Faith healing. Faith healing.
Oh, I thought you said faithium. I was like, did this man just call it faithium?
No.
Bro, you need some. I was gonna get mad.
Let me move my mic closer.
Let's get you some fucking Roganium, old man. I'm getting mad now.
No, faith healing. Faith healing.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of denominations that advocate for faith healing.
Okay, but can you and I'm being serious, can you actually, that's an actual belief-based thing, and there are some Eastern religions that have actually demonstrated like actual results that are scientifically
You can't really substantiate that it doesn't work. That's the hard part, is you can't substantiate that like this is fake.
Yeah, so I'm fine with
So essentially, once we put these better laws in place, we just created a more defined gray area that they're going to try and hide.
It's like it's like why
every preacher starts healing kids of cancer with their hands, we need to re-examine things.
Also,
big pharma is gonna be pissed. They're gonna start trying to ban preachers. But
all the problems solved.
You are no longer anxious, my child. I remove your stress about the future and decisions you have to make.
Well, we know that don't work because some of those kids
without a doubt, Big Pharma is going before the Supreme Court asking for preaching to be banned. Oh,
Sprout, I love you.
That's incredible. Can you imagine? Just Jack, fucking, I don't know, Smith here from Pfizer. Did you know that priests are helping kids get healthy? I can't have this shit.
Like, you know what those priests also do to those kids? Time to bring them down.
I can't have them actually providing good mental health services to these kids because I have pills for them. Okay? This is not okay.
I feel very confident that's not the messaging they'd use, but sure, I understand the sentiment.
Well, yeah, but we're reading between the lines, Elder Drosy. We're reading between the lines.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a little less nuanced than the guy lobbying would be.
Look, I'm just looking out for the average Twitch viewer, okay?
No, but that being said, like, honestly,
can you imagine Big
we
Pharma
also
being
need
out
to
here like,
figure out where the
religion
line
known?
is between religion and cult, because that line has been blurred so heavily, specifically by the Christian and Catholic Church.
And Apple and Samsung.
No,
the only difference is colloquial use. They are literally the same thing.
Jack.
Definitionally, they are the same thing. It's just how people choose to use the words.
I'm gonna beat you with your own Bowser.
There are cults that are fine and don't do anything wrong. They're not hurting anybody. Should leave them the fuck alone. There's religions that are fine. There's also bad on both of those sides, and they both fit the definition of what a cult is. Cult comes from like the occult, which just means like hidden information.
Legal.
We know it and you don't.
Cult, because a religion is legal, cults are illegal. Where is the legal line that we should be drawing?
Cults aren't illegal.
It's a very strong line between an actual religion and a cult, and I really would like to talk about that.
Then it's the exploitation of the congregation that ends up making it illegal.
Aren't even in religious factions, people being taken advantage of, like as custodial staff, like considered helps ministry or something like that within the church, and are doing work for the church for free as they continue to take in money. Sorry, continue.
No, I'm listening. I'm just also reading. Because I thought it was the becoming a cult that was actually the illegality. No, they're being processed as cults for observation of organized criminal activity, etc. It's a legal definition that doesn't actually denote illegality.
Yeah, we have ways of like categorizing them legally, but like it's legal to start a cult.
Yeah, no, it's the other shit in the middle that you do that ends up putting you on a watch list. That's where you legally get defined as a cult. But it doesn't make you illegal. It's the actions you're doing that a cult basically means you're an organized criminal church.
All right. I'll be honest, you guys are just making me want to fucking file a 501(c), start a religion, and start a cult. This is all I'm getting out of this.
It's very difficult.
I mean, L. Ron Hubbard did it.
Yeah, but it was hard.
John, what's his name did it? The guy that does the Last Week Tonight?
John Oliver, yeah.
Yeah, John Oliver did it.
It's not that hard. I could start a church. The Church of Parallax is gonna get founded in 2023.
Let's go.
Mathology, where the only sin is being stupid.
The only sin is interrupting me, and I did it earlier, and I'm a transgressor. I'm sorry, Sprout!
You know, there is a religion where stupidity is actually a sin. That's Satanism. That is, as far as I know, the only religion that stupidity is a sin. So is being ungrateful, and also like looking down on yourself. These are all things
Satanism has some unironically based beliefs.
Yeah. Actually, they kind of do. Like, it's kind of fucking.
It's fucked up when Satanists are like, actually, this is what we believe, and I'm like, oh wow, you guys are really positive.
Yeah, dude,
right?
If you look at the Church of Satan, and I think it's Dallas or Fort Worth. It's one of the two.
It's in San Francisco.
Well, no, there's one in Texas too. That's like right across from a big Christian mega church, and
the official Church of Satan. Like the founding Church of Satan, founded in 1964 by Anton LaVey, which is the first religion that has ever been officially recognized called Satanism.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's more than one location. Is my point.
There isn't.
Mhm.
The official Church of Satan was founded by Anton LaVey in 1964 or 69 in San Francisco. It is the only physical structure that is the Church of Satan that is endorsed by the Church of Satan.
Sorry, it's a satanic temple in Texas.
There you go. That's something totally different, which is not the same as the Church of Satan.
So, but they do have a lot of the same tenets of
Cajun, Methodists, Baptists, they both worship Satan.
No.
I can't speak for any of these offshoot things that may or may not align. I can only speak towards...
That's fine. I figured there was more than one location because they had already got their tax exempt status federally, so they would have cropped up elsewhere. This may have been picked. I just know that there was one across the street from a fucking mega church in Texas where they fucking constantly protest each other. And it's the fucking the satanic temple that takes in the unwed mothers and the homeless and actually helps people. The other church that doesn't do shit. They are kind of based.
To me. It's pretty base to me when I think about how I was always made to feel at church. I'm like, oh my god, half of what I think and do is terrible. And then Satanism's like, you're kind of awesome, dude, and don't you fucking doubt it. And I'm like,
damn.
Satan kind of cool. He likes me. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually pretty torn on religion in general right now, but it is based to find out that Satanists aren't out here let's carve up some goats. They're more like, I'm just fucking awesome, bitch.
If I remember correctly, the actual term for Satanism before LaVey created the church was essentially aggressively atheist. It wasn't even a set of beliefs in the way we look at it today.
Well, there is a bit of endorsed dogmatism in, if you want to call it LaVeyan Satanism, you can, which sometimes you have to because, like you said, there's a lot of other things that they call themselves Satanism, but it's not officially that's not what the word means.
Yeah.
The word will refer to LaVeyan Satanism, and it's very, very self-positive. It's very, very much you should be taking care of yourself. It's directly opposed to Christian ideas of turning the other cheek. It's no, you don't turn the other cheek. If somebody smites you on one cheek, you smash them on the other. If somebody fucks you over, you fuck them over back hard enough to where they think twice about fucking you over. Which is ironically how a lot of Christians I know do behave. I think it's basically humanism with some of the more fancy bells and whistles to draw on that good religion feeling.
Yeah. It's hilarious the misunderstandings about Satanism. We can blame the satanic panic for that. I lived through that shit.
See, you know what's crazy is I basically just found out that you could be a Satanist and believe in every other religion based on what you just told me.
Satanism does not endorse or disqualify the belief in any deity. You can believe in whatever deity you want.
Quickly, yeah. I believe in God and Satanism. I think I got to talk with my parents about this and see how they feel. Based on what I'm hearing, I'm definitely a Satanist, but I got to figure out the God side.
See, I was raised Roman Catholic. I was 12 years old when I told my dad that your God isn't the only God I believed in. Now, I'm going to tell you, this was the early 80s. I ended up on the floor because he backhanded the shit out of me. So hopefully your parents don't react the same as mine did.
My mom's right there. She's chilling at my house till their new internet gets moved up next week. She's in the room. She just found out I'm a Satanist.
Hey, Ma.
Jack says, hey, Ma.
Oh, wow.
I didn't expect to be converting anybody to Satanism today, but
let's go. This is a great panel.
I do consider it.
I got a Satanism conversion.
If that's the actual genuine core beliefs of Satanism and it doesn't restrict me from also deciding I want to be a Christian too, fuck yeah, I am fucking awesome. And if you smite me, you gonna catch the goddamn smoke. I'm in.
Yeah, I think that it would be rather difficult to adhere to Satanism and Christianity at the same time. It sort of stands in opposite.
And most you already said most Christians are already doing it. I'm just gonna sign up for the same brand. I now like it. I endorse that shit. I'm in.
Well, just in the sense that you believe in sin and Satanism really doesn't.
No, Satanists don't believe in the devil. They don't think the devil's real. It's just it's like a it's like a figurehead.
You guys have been telling me all night religion adapts. I got this.
There's a difference from Luciferians. So that's
yeah.
All night religion adapts. I fucking got this, okay?
Yeah, see, whereas I'm an eclectic theistic pagan, I believe all the religions in the world are correct. It's the followers that got it wrong. There's just the only way. Satanism's based. It's like, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And oh yeah, take care of yourself. And oh yeah, take care of your neighbor. And you know what? If this guy fucks you over, it's quite okay to kick him in the nuts. I mean, that's pretty much what it says. When I read that shit, I think it was back in the mid '80s. I read that.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
I think the funniest part about this is like you said that like that's how most Christians act, and I was raised very religious, and my dad said fights should have 3 Fs. You hit harder or 3 hits. You hit harder, faster, and first. Because if you feel a person's going to aggress upon you, you escalate it twofold immediately. So if you hit harder, faster, and first, you never get hurt. So like my dad's not even like wait till you take it on the other cheek. He's like, hit them on the cheek first. So like yeah, that lines up really correctly with what you said.
That's Satanism, baby.
So Lethea, have you converted from your I'm not a Christian to you're now satanic too?
No, why would I do that? That's more baggage. The whole deal of my journey.
I lost all of my baggage in one conversation.
Oh, my deal is to take on as little baggage as possible. So I bared the baggage of Christianity from age whatever I could understand language to, oh no, this is bullshit, which was, I'm going to say, in my early 20s. And then I started looking, and I actually got to the point where I joined a Japanese cult.
I wasn't ready for anybody to say shit like that, but please,
go
on.
So when I worked my
Discord nickname to Left the Water Koi until you're done with this story, please.
Nah. The Kai is the whole point of it. It's a rebirth. We're fixing this.
Sorry, I hate myself for the dad joke.
It's all good. So I used to go to a Japanese restaurant near where my first job was, and they had pamphlets up for a cult. It was Reiha no Hikari, the light of divinity.
Oh,
and it was if you want to find happiness, you join this religion. And I was really at a point where I'm just looking for something. I was in the esoteric web. I was reading all kind of interesting things, but I was still Christian. I really couldn't get away from the Christian aspects. So in Reiha no Hikari, it was very similar to Christianity, where there's one figure who was the Goshigo Jinsama, and he could do things like transmute materials and teleport, all these other fun things. I didn't believe it, but I was down to learn about it. So I got invited into their homes. They literally had an anime about this religious figure.
If this is the Church of Waifu that you joined, this stream is going to be remarkably successful.
It'd have been more fun if it was the stream of Waifu. It was more the stream of video games, because I got to play a lot of good Japanese video games.
So, bro, are you telling me that you did the Black Klansman situation, but with just a Japanese cult? You were like,
yeah,
I want to infiltrate something, but nothing that will threaten my life.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Like, you had to pay money to join a bond. They give you a cup. You're supposed to pray over the cup. They give you the prayer.
And they never thought about killing you the whole time.
Not once.
That's so awesome.
They fed me. In fact, they fed me and kept me alive.
I like them and your choice. And
so I'm not even mad at them. And then when I didn't pay my bond again, which is what the tithe is for this, it's like once a year you pay a tithe to the church. They paid it for me.
Damn, they didn't want you to go.
They didn't want me to go. It was a great cult. They are very nice.
They're an awesome cult. They're
a cult that didn't want people to leave.
Something new and original.
They're onto something.
Many. It was a great cult.
We'll show you our gregariousness and just let you join again. Re-up for free. You know you want to be here.
Like fucking Planet.
You know
Planet
what that sounds like to me?
Putting out pizza
hold
on
on.
the table.
Let's wipe the religion away. That sounds like to me, as you're walking by your former fucking smack dealer. Hey man, you want a taste? Nah, man, I don't do that anymore. Here, have some for free. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yes, I just said this is exactly like Planet Fatness putting pizza on the table, being like, "Yo, get off the treadmill and now put those calories back in, you chunky son of a bitch. Go home so you get to repeat the cycle." Like, who goes? They put pizza out at Planet Fitness, bro. I'm down like 140 just through sheer willpower. If I went to a gym that had pizza, I'd be up 140.
But just to make it clear, like before all that,
this man cannot provide himself pizza. Is all I'm understanding.
I don't want to be providing myself pizza. It's not a good decision. Make the pizza go away.
Oh, it's so good. So like, I was literally one of the people that used to knock. I used to knock on people's doors.
Satan of Pizza the Hut.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm a Satanist and I'm a pizzanist.
Well, pizza's just as good, right?
If you want, I can send you a PDF of the Satanic Bible. I used to have a first edition copy of the Satanic Bible, but I left it at a high school that I stopped going to.
I wonder how that worked out for that high school. Is that high school in a portal right now?
I actually got the Satanic Bible banned from the high school I was at before, because the school was in rural Michigan, and they really, really didn't like it. And it freaked out the Youth for Christ organization there, too, because I pushed back really hard. Rural Michigan.
Upper or lower peninsula?
The thumb.
Oh, God. So you were over by Port Huron. Oh,
about 70 miles north.
Oh, no. I'm from Detroit.
Listening there.
Oh, you get it. You get it.
For future, I think we need to also add to the next panel, because we're going to do Muhammad being shown and the teacher suing because of Muhammad being shown. And I think we're going to have to do satanic clubs in high schools and schools.
I was raised in Detroit, so it's like,
you're not still in Detroit, are you?
Fuck no.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, when people aren't from Detroit, I just say that I'm from the Detroit area. I live in the Detroit area.
Those are wood panel, not brick and mortar or iron.
No, but my outside walls are brick. My walls are brick on the outside.
Yeah, that's fair, but the inside would look more.
Yeah,
like
no,
a
but
Detroit.
where I have a brother who lives in Saginaw. I have a brother who lives in Wixom.
Saginaw, Wixom, that's all like here. I'm talking.
Yeah,
you know, like,
and then my other brother lives over in Ann Arbor.
Sanilac County or Huron County. Sorry.
Yep. My dad used to live up in Battle Creek, and I used to mow lawns up in Grosse Pointe Eel.
Jack, how much Flint water have you consumed?
I'm talking.
Actually, been in Flint myself personally.
I'm talking Harbor Beach, Bad Axe, Ubly, Port Austin, Port Sanilac, that area.
Yeah, all the places I used to go fishing for walleye.
Yeah, great. It's a great place to visit, especially if you're white.
Really weird Michigan dick measuring contest, but
no. This
is explaining my torture.
Yeah. He grew up in. Okay.
Oh,
you know when you see those videos on YouTube Shorts where somebody just like fucking looks into the camera after showing you something on like a fucking TikTok and they go, "White people." Yeah. He's from where even those people would look at his contemporaries and go, "Fucking white people."
So this is a real.
So we're talking like Wisconsin.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna tell you a story real quick.
White people.
Short story.
South of Green Bay.
I worked at a Little Caesars when I was like 20. I went outside to have a cigarette break, and I seen this. I seen this for real with my own eyes. I seen a man in his 40s. Oh, sorry, a man who was like probably over 50, like in his mid 60s, farmer guy, overalls, walked out of the restaurant. So it's like there's an alleyway that I'm sitting in. It's between the Little Caesars and this restaurant. This man and his son, who's like in his mid 40s, dad's like in his 60s. He goes, "Come on, boy." And the son said, "Oh, daddy," just like that. And he said, and he goes, "I say, come on, boy." And he was just like, made really weird sounds like, "Oh, yeah," and like followed him, both wearing overalls. And like, I'm sitting there like, I've lived here for so long and I thought I seen it all. This shit's fucking wild. That exists where I live. That exists where I went to high school. And I did not fit in at all. It was rough.
Yeah,
I didn't have one of the last names.
Yeah, the farthest north end of the thumb I went was Grosse Pointe Eel, specifically for the reasons he is describing.
Gros Isle's wonderful. I love Gros Isle.
Yeah.
I used to have a customer there that I did computer work for. This woman would give me like $300 worth of shit just for showing up, in addition to my fee.
But as somebody who was born and raised in the 70s Detroit, would you want to go north of Grosse Eel into the thumb?
I mean,
no, you don't. You don't go to the.
There's only really being born and raised in the 70s anywhere.
There's only two reasons why you want to go there. If you own property up there, or you were born up there.
1970s, last century, what?
No, or
as far as I understand, you don't go to Compton. That's just
or you're going fishing.
What I get,
which means you stay on the water. That's the only other reason to go into the thumb is to go fishing because there's great fishing up there.
Yeah,
what is a thumb? What is a thumb?
So this is Michigan, right? Michigan looks like a hand. This is the thumb. And people from the thumb love it when you call it the thumb. Their cell phone company's called Thumb Cellular. Their catchphrase is the talk of the thumb. There's a city called Marlette. It's called the heart of the thumb because it's like in the middle. They're fucking batshit crazy.
The only people more crazy.
One of my best friends in high school was dating her cousin, and she didn't know. And then she found out, was like, well, it's not that big a deal. First cousin, mind you. That's the area. The thumb of Michigan is what people talk about Alabama being like.
Wait a minute. By the way, hold on. By the way, this is not the craziest part of Michigan. Youpers make these people look normal.
Bruh, I lived in Appalachia for 7 years,
Yeah.
and I gotta tell you, bruh.
Oh wait.
Okay, you would feel right at home in the Upper Peninsula then. You'd be fine.
So first of all, I think the first sign I knew I was in Appalachia was I went to Walmart, that was sketchy to begin with, but I went to Walmart and I saw a dude with a mullet mohawk.
Oh, you met Mythic Politics.
I was like, I don't know who that is, but when I saw this dude, I was like, how are you both like a feminist and a crazy
You almost said Nazi.
Nope.
You almost did. I heard you.
Nope.
What other N-word were you gonna say, bud?
Nope.
You were gonna say Nazi.
Neo-fascist just as bad, but I was gonna say neo-fascist. Either way, it was just
people from there called Walmart the mall.
Just as useless. Quit calling me out. Stop it. Either way, it blew my mind. I saw that within like 6 months of getting there, and over the time I lived there. So I worked in the car business, and I think the most eye-opening thing was definitely when I met actual Hatfields and McCoys that were married to other Hatfields and McCoys, but like McCoy married to McCoy, who was already McCoy. Or I've even seen it where it's like McCoy married a maiden name Hatfield, who was a McCoy, but Hatfield's mommy was a McCoy. That shit's real. The Hatfields and the McCoys.
Is this for me?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I lived in that area, and the Hatfields and McCoys, they were like, yeah, after the feud, we just started fucking each other like wild. And they bought cars for me for years. They're wild people, man.
Up there,
they're as wild as it gets.
Well, there's a very strong KKK presence in Appalachia, but it's dying out as of recently. In California, we have it mostly in Fallbrook and a lot of Northern California. And I just don't want to deal with it.
Really?
I'd rather not. So I just don't go there.
I find myself shocked to find out that you are not a KKK enjoyer.
I enjoy watching Tiki Torch rallies where they're not smart enough to wear masks or any sort of hood. You forgot your hood, brother. Here's why we wore hoods, so we don't lose our job on Monday.
Shit. Mythic's fucking YouTube channel and GG are gone, so I can't even find a picture for you guys. But he's live on his Myth Clip channel. But he's got a fucking beanie on, so you can't see the fucking mullet.
What did I do?
Not you. Mythic Politics is a conspiracy streamer / political streamer who played Icarus one too many times with TOS.
I'm working on it because we started with dog fucking.
And how do we end?
And apparently we're gonna end with it. Here we go.
Why, Levy?
Well, because you did what you did.
Wick did it. Prime did it. Why do we need to touch on it again? Just no.
Oh, I don't want to touch on it. That was the whole point.
I was mentioning.
That's my stance. No. Don't fuck dogs.
But Pomeranian fleshlights could be an industry.
Which, for the record, just becomes Palmeranian as a brand. PALM Iranian.
I'm gonna give you a share in the company that I create.
I mean, or they could go for the other dogs. They could just call them pup and
Yay
pups.
Capitalism! Yay capitalism!
And I will be leading the charge of protesters outside doors.
You get some puppy guppies.
Spartacus, you're real quiet. No. We haven't heard from you in a long time.
The disposable 1-cup throwaway use you call the puppy cuppy.
No, we have not heard from Spartacus in like a good 15-20 minutes.
I think the Satanism discourse.
I've just been listening. I just don't. I don't know. I don't have much to say on this topic, to be 100% honest. I've just kind of been listening along, following.
We went full circle, and we got back to what I asked you when you first showed up.
Yep, back to the aliens.
Apologize, but don't apologize.
Back to the dog fucking.
Dude, aliens can last all night.
He said, "Back to aliens. I'm done with Satanism and dog fucking." I do apologize if you felt anything I said was blasphemous. To be honest, like I would never worship Satan. To be clear, I just think it's based to like have any.
Neither would Satanists.
Yeah, that's the thing. Neither do Satanists.
All right, motherfucker. I'm talking to Sprout, who probably felt there was some blasphemy happening. So I just want to be clear on my stance.
I mean, Sprout's sitting here with two pot smoking, either atheists / pagans. He hangs out in Queen Alexa's server. I bet he hangs out with people who have more fucked up shit than we do.
I'm just saying.
I love Queen Alexa, but he has heard worse. He has fucking heard worse.
Speaking of that, if I
could reach through the camera and put my hand over your fucking mouth.
I think I'm going to smoke weed for the first time tomorrow on stream. I haven't smoked weed in like 3 or 4 years. I quit smoking weed like 3 or 4 years ago.
Please
but I got a joint.
It just dulls the brain. Don't do
it. It does not. Motherfucker, if this is me dulled, you would hate to see me sober.
This man said it dulls the brain and sipped what I perceive to be either whiskey or scotch.
It is absolutely scotch.
Okay, it dulls the brain. Hold on. Oh, I may not remember this.
It also dulls the pain. And as a recent study that was done, marijuana does not remove pain.
Bullshit.
Although
it doesn't. It covers your pain receptors so that signal can't send.
It reduces inflammation, which can reduce pain.
Sorry, my friend.
Although, Leith, I got a new bottle of Blanton's actually last weekend. I got a bottle of Blanton's.
What is that fidget ring? I want it.
What is this thing you're speaking of, Spartacus?
I need the fidget ring.
You've never heard of Blanton's before?
Never once.
Me either.
Really? It's like a really, really good whiskey. You should try it.
Oh, Blanton's whiskey. So I only drink Islay Scotch for the most part.
Spartacus,
Iowa Scotch?
Isle of Scotch.
No, you mean
Oh,
Isle of Deer, Isle of Man, Isle of
Isla.
Isla.
I thought he was saying
ISLA.
Iowa Scotch. I'm like, that is not
I thought he
Scotch.
was just telling us that he loves Scotch. I thought he said, "I love
do.
Scotch."
I
Yeah, he
do
was,
also like
I drink
Scotch.
aisles of scotch. I was like,
Scotchy, Scotch, Scotch.
The whole aisle
Uh,
of scotch?
I was about to say,
Every
motherfucker, what Isle of Scotch? Like every Isle in Scotland has its
the
different
whole
fucking
aisle-
distillery.
That he means the whole aisle in the
ISLAY.
store.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
AISLE. The whole aisle.
Your
in the
accent
store.
and your tone, my friend. We've gone over this. Sometimes
It's not my fault that my voice is too full of bass to be picked up by normal people.
No matter
No,
what
no,
you
no.
say,
You need better microphones.
Your voice is so deep. No matter what you say, it's based. Sprout, can you send me a link to those fidget rings? I need it.
Why does Perilous have
Yeah,
bars?
once my wife tells me where she got them, I'll send you a link.
I do spit bars.
Those are actually fidget.
But like,
rings.
it's actually really cool because I can sit there and just do this, and they're magnetic, so they most of the time they stick unless they go too far down your finger. But yeah, you can just keep going back and forth.
Yeah, that looks like it would, like, I'm very fidgety and very anxious. I think I'd really like that. And I also noticed the wedding ring, mad respect. I'm a very happily married man. Mad respect.
Thank you, appreciate it.
My wedding ring no longer fits, and unfortunately, I got it made out of titanium, so I just have to buy a new one. I can't resize it.
I can't resize mine. Mine is I can't resize mine. Mine's it's not titanium, but
Is it
it's
tungsten?
It's tungsten carbide.
Tungsten
Tungsten
carbide,
carbide.
I got tungsten carbide with I got meteorite and T-Rex fossil in mine with uncut diamond because I just thought it'd be
I'm
really cool to
fairly
have the
sure
dinosaur
that's
and the thing that
fake.
kills them. No,
I'm fairly sure that's fake. They just say like, oh, by the way, we put some dinosaur bone in this.
No,
Oh,
they
man,
show the
now it's
receipts.
much more expensive.
They show you where they buy it from. I had it custom made.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just custom made.
Ring.
By the way, I'm also going to point out, you have no idea how easy it is to get fossilized dinosaur bone when it's like itty bitty chips and shit that you're going to be grinding up like this. You could
Actually, they show you them
where
making
you can
them.
buy them on eBay for by 50-pound bags.
Yeah, they have large chunks and then they break it down into smaller pieces. Yeah.
Because it's stuff that's not museum quality. There's no research value to it. It's just
But it's
the
still
stuff
cool
that,
to him to have a dinosaur bone in his ring, okay?
Well,
Yeah,
and meteorite. I have the dinosaur and the thing that killed it on my finger.
Ooh.
If you don't think that's cool, fuck you. That shit's
Ooh.
cool.
That's
kind of based.
That's covering
Yeah,
bases right there.
unironically. Yeah,
I'm not even mad about that.
I like it. So I will say shameless plug for Wick on Friday. If you want to see me on the other side, I'll be arguing in favor of TradCon gender rules on Friday.
see,
on
I'm
Wick's
not
day.
Really?
I'm not
TradCon gender rules, really?
Mm-hmm.
Are you being ironic?
Not entirely. I'm not going to be
So-
arguing like 100% in favor of them, but
can I
I
ask
think
a question?
I think the social movement against them is damaging.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
So
If your girl could fix your car but you couldn't, would you let her?
absolutely. And I would think it was hot as fuck.
Nice.
Well, there goes TradCon right there. Moving forward.
No.
so
No,
this
no,
is
no.
ri-
I
this
think
is ri-
that pushing the boundaries of breaking those things down and forcing people to change their values or encouraging people to change their values is the problem. I think that these things have worked for millennia, and there's a reason, and that TradCon relationships work for lots of people, and I'm excited to talk about it on another night. Jack, you want to interrupt no matter what I'm talking about? Shut the fuck up.
I'm not
you interrupter.
interrupting. No,
What do
I'm
you
not
wanna show
interrupting.
me?
I'm smacking.
Is it a
I'm
fucking
smacking your
prototype?
idea. No, I
What
was smacking your
prototype?
idea.
What
I was
prototype
smacking
do you
your
want to
idea,
show me,
motherfucker.
Jack?
I was smacking your fucking idea that they've worked for thousands of years for a reason. Yeah, they worked
They
for
have.
thousands of years for a reason because we haven't had other fucking choices until
And
now.
then fucking Tinder showed up and fuck all that bullshit.
No,
just
and this
saying,
is like I don't care if you
the
guys ever
social
see this
movement
again. That's
against
not my
them is
point.
the
The,
issue.
the,
The social
So,
movement
like,
against them is the issue, not the fact that they.
I'm gonna say we have ended the panel and we're not talking about any of the topics anymore.
no,
So,
no,
I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity for an outro
by the way, what
before
happened
we
to Rev?
just.
Did he
Oh,
leave early?
Rev had a dip. You already knew he had a dip.
Yeah, but he was gone before I got here, and I got here
What?
at like
He
10 o'clock
left-
Eastern.
He
Parallax,
left
I'm
right
sorry.
Before the second topic, as did Pyro left right when the second topic started.
Why is that, Eldrazi?
I don't know. How TradCon are you? Because
I'm not TradCon. I don't live a TradCon lifestyle at all. I think that the social movement against TradCon people is damaging.
Okay, well, I just
Gotcha.
gave you arguments then. Good
Okay.
shit.
No,
Fair
no,
enough.
that doesn't make my argument bad.
No, your
People
argument is good if you don't agree with TradCon bullshit.
I just got into a huge argument because I casually said something that led Rose Malay to the information that I'm polyamorous, and we got into like an hour and a half long debate about it. I won.
Well, see, I'm on the opposite side of you,
that one.
Elder Drazi. I'm asexual.
That's what's up. Good God, how freeing that must fucking be.
It
Holy
really
shit.
fucking is.
So
I
we've got
do
a-
what the
so
fuck
we've
I
got-
want.
We've got
I
a
go-
polyamorous person, an asexual person, and a house husband who believes in TradCon relationships. Let's go.
I go to bed
Sprout, where are you jumping
with
in?
my wife
Where
and
you
girlfriend. This
jumping in?
man has a whole bed to himself. Do you have dogs or anything?
No,
Wow,
no.
this man has a whole bed. I have a queen size bed with no room in it constantly.
I have a California king, and I use all of it.
I have a California king, and there's a queen sleeping in it waiting for me right now, baby.
Get
And
this
I'm good
fucking
with
man
that.
out of here.
And I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that. I just don't want to deal with it.
That's fair, dude. That I truly, I can't imagine that, like the freedom that must like live in your soul.
Well, I have my own struggles. I have my own life, and I can put another person's life into my life, but I tend to lose my own life.
Wait, are you asexual like via self-preservation? Like you just don't engage because you think
No,
it's
I
bad for you?
started that way. I
Oh,
started
okay.
that way.
Basically,
It
the
is-
high masculine culture he grew up in forced him into relationships. And
No,
shit.
no, that wasn't really it. I was around the 1990s. You need to like there were certain movies that were going around at the time, like House Party. Everybody's trying to like lose their virginity kind of stuff, like American Pie. Everybody's trying to
Yeah.
lose their virginity.
The top
And that
priority for every boy was supposed to be getting your dick wet.
And that was the mentality of the group I was in. And I just didn't understand it. I'm like, can't we just play video games?
Based.
Can't we ride bikes? Like, there's other things we could be doing.
I was in the
These
same
women
boat.
aren't my issue. So I would get dared constantly to neg women. And it wasn't because I wanted to. It was like, oh, her shoes are fly. And I'm like, I don't really like those shoes. Go tell her, hey, I'm not really feeling your shoes. Because
Oh,
I
so you
didn't
were
think it
put
was
in
a
shitty
thing.
situations. Yeah, I got you.
Because I didn't think on the level that they did, where they're trying to impress women to do things. I don't think on that level.
So your homies are making you take the fall so they can be like, nah, your shoes are fly, boo.
So
That's
I never ask women out. I've
Fuck.
been asked out a lot. I've been put in situations. I'm not anti-sex. I will have sex if situations are whatever they are. If it flows a certain way, that's what it is. But it's not something I'm looking for, nor anything that I'm pushing for.
So I think I can relate very directly here. I don't think I would be remiss to say that asexual is probably not the correct term. I would say that you're sexually disinterested. You're more focused on the things in front of you right now, but not closed off to something if it presents itself. So this is the
pretty much.
exact place I was in my life before I met my wife. I had fun fact, I grew up in the age where the most common insult for a male was the F slur. And because I wasn't out trying to get as much ass as humanly possible, I was called the F slur all the time, specifically by my brother, my father, my family, like people that could really actually damage me. And it had a lot of like negative effects on my psyche. So I got, I lost my virginity at 15, but I wasn't like trying to get laid all the time. You know what I mean? I slept with that girl. I dated her. I slept with her, and then it was almost to my wife before I slept with someone again because I didn't give a fuck. I was just completely and utterly disinterested. It's not because I didn't have the ability to. Girls were interested in me. I've been fat and funny my whole life, and for whatever reason, cuddly and funny works for women. It always has. I just don't give a fuck. I just didn't have an interest. And then I met my wife, and I was like, a new challenger has arrived. ooh, and my interest was immediately like there was just a shift I had.
Enter
So I would say,
player 2.
That's interesting.
yeah, I would say stay where you're at. I think that's a really positive mentality to focus on yourself, but be open to the idea that that could change for you because I was not looking for her at all. I literally rounded a corner and saw a woman who made me pause. It was literally an actual at first sight type of thing. And then she was in a class later that day I was in on campus, and I'm a pretty bold, outspoken guy. So I sat behind next to my friend who was sat behind her, and I leaned right over and I said, "Hey, Anna, who's the girl in front of you?" She turned around and she said, "My name's Amanda, and I can hear you." And I was like, "Hi, I'm Bobby. Nice to meet you."
I walked outside my door and I seen my wife walk in with my friend's brother, and I said, "You know anybody who wants to buy some hash?" And he was like, "Yeah, me." And then they came in and smoked hash with us, and that's how I met my wife.
I went to I sat behind my wife at Spanish class in high school. Consistently tried to date her in high school. And looking back at the way I looked in high school, I don't blame her for, choosing not to. But I left high school, joined the army, went to basic, and after that she just couldn't resist. So,
hey, well, congratulations on the glow up, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate it. I respect the chase.
I met my wife in a chat room.
Oh my goodness! Why would you wife a chick?
That's the most 54 and second marriage thing I've heard in a long time. Please tell me she's your second wife.
My wife's my second wife.
But
no fucking way.
On the flip side of that, my first marriage was when I was 18 and lasted until I was 19. So my first marriage was not exactly long.
That's so incredible.
On the flip side of that, Parallax, the part you didn't hear is like, yeah.
And Kyle slid into his wife's DMs. Okay, so everybody's doing this thing where they get married. So I'm the only unmarried. I've not slept with anyone. I want to say I've not slept with anyone in 8 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but Parallax, the part you missed is my first marriage lasted 18 months and started when I was like 2 months into 18.
Literally,
Jesus.
Literally, dude. Does not fucking matter. I nailed you. Dartboard, bullseye, game over.
But here's the thing. But the difference is how long ago my wife and I got together. Like, dude, you guys would have been like, you met your wife on the internet when? Because back then,
chat room. I listened. You said chat room, motherfucker. I heard in my head one of two things: ICQ or fucking MSN. You know what I'm saying? I went way back. Yeah.
AOL.
Yeah.
No, MIRC.
MIRC.
Ooh.
Yep.
I was about to say a little bit older, but ICQ was close enough.
ICQ is pretty close, yeah.
Wow.
Microsoft Comic Chat, bruh. That was my first one. You literally you picked your little comic book avatar, and you would type your message, and they would pop up and be like, "Hi, I'm 13, and I'm from the U.S." And some little girl's comic book image would pop up, and she'd be like, "Hi, I'm 13, I'm from Australia." And 30 minutes later, you'd have a grainy picture of her vagina. That's what it was like growing up in the 90s, man.
I used to talk to a chick on MSN Messenger, and you know how you would have like a tagline thing. It was like a profile status or whatever. And I was like 14, and like I was always fucked up by this chick because she was so slutty. Her profile tagline thing was best way to get over one guy is to get under another. And just sometimes she would just message me like egregious sexual things. I'd just be like, "Tell me more. Please give me all the information here." And she'd just say a bunch of fucked up shit that I shouldn't have been hearing at that age.
So I'll be honest, that experience was a very real experience, and like early internet access kind of fucked with me a little bit in terms of sexuality.
So glad that my kids did not get access to the internet like you did. I'm so glad.
That's part of what contributed to like my like disinterest was like I was very young the first time a girl sent me a photo of her nude, and I was like, icky. You know, young enough that it was icky. I was like, vagina's no good. I don't want that. And so then I'm like, well, what's the opposite of vagina? And I my brother keeps calling me this word. Am I that word? Right. Turned out real quickly, as soon as I saw one of those, I was like, way worse. No thanks. Why does it look like God just had extra elbow skin and slapped
Last
something between
chicken
his
in the
legs? I
butcher
don't
window.
understand. Yeah, I was like, I'm good. I don't know why God had extra elbow skin and put it between a dude's legs, but I'm good.
Christ.
It was weird.
I always go with the analogy of it looks like the last chicken in the butcher shop.
Yeah, but
Good
either way, I became
Y'all are crucifying my genitals here, all right?
No, your parents
Gracious.
were born. That's circumcision.
But like ultimately, why are there more phallic symbols than vaginal symbols?
Because men create the symbols and they're like, look at my cat.
Well, I mean,
Very
really, it goes back to
exploitation.
like the original idea of God was like rain. Rain, because the rain came down from the ground and it gave life to everything. It was symbolic of like like how we fuck. And it's like semen coming down and then producing life. So God was seen as rain, and so like the symbol or tool of the thing that made the rain was obviously going to be a phallic. I'm like a amateur theologian. I'm sorry. Religion's like my jam.
Fun for
You're
me.
not wrong, although technically it was slightly different in other cultures, but you're absolutely right with the neo-Christianity fucking iconography.
I'm an amateur, uncomfortable hand gesture maker.
I mean, the fact that we haven't made Sprout red in a while, I'm wondering if he has us muted.
No, you're not muted.
There was a point earlier.
I'm just
I was
listening.
I was like, Sprout's on Destiny mode. Mans is playing Factorio right now. Like, there's no shot he is listening to us.
Hold on. Let me check.
I'm gonna
the
say
server
my
list.
panel makes Sprout very uncomfortable.
I'm gonna have a sneaking suspicion.
No, I'm not uncomfortable. I've heard worse.
Well, I hope you.
He's been on panels with me before where the topics were much more egregious than this. In fact,
Listen,
Sprout, this is the only time we haven't yelled at each other.
I was on a panel. Listen, I was on a panel talking about why pedophiles are bad, and it turns out I was telling a minor why pedophiles were bad.
Oh, you were on that panel.
Oh shit!
Yes.
I was also there.
I was about to say yes.
Are you an ironic Satanist?
I said off rip, I would have left that panel as soon as I heard there was a AA.
Yeah, and they did. Everybody with a soul was like, "Nope, I'm out. Fuck this. Bye bye."
I don't even think I have a soul, but I still would have left off rip.
Okay,
I didn't leave, but I was the one that told the kid to leave. They were like, I was texting my girlfriend when this happened, so it was just kind of like background noise. And like I heard the second time they said like, if everybody's uncomfortable, I'll leave. I was like, look, it's nothing personal, but yeah, you should go. I don't think leaving is necessarily.
But they just kept saying it. They just kept saying it. We're all like, "Yes, leave," and they're like, "Well, if I'm making everyone uncomfortable, I'll go." And the one person's like, "Listen, we're the adults. We're saying no."
Are we talking Twitch TOS minor? Like how young?
It was a 15.
You're talking 16.
We don't really need to go into it, but it was bad. If you want to look into the lore, if you want to look up Parallax, if you want to look into the lore, it was the It's D&D panel. I'm sure somebody has it up somewhere. You can find it.
I have it up. But I just want to point out, I didn't leave, but I was the one that got them to leave. If everybody who has a soul leaves, then nobody's there telling the kid to get the fuck out of the room.
I was about to say, everybody with the soul left, and you were like, "We have to end this now." I was about to get there because It's D&D acted like you wanted to keep going.
It's because It's D&D knew.
It's D&D knew about it.
I know. Like, we found this out later, but I was in
and that person
Beckett's
was
stream. I was in Beckett's stream when It's D&D came in and like tried to defend himself, and basically fucking self-reported that he fucking knew this like 10 days earlier.
And this person was arguing pro.
Yeah.
They were AAM on the panel with their map abuser.
It's true.
With their my god.
Yes.
That's the appropriate.
Their map abuser.
The fucking twist out.
Their map abuser invited them onto the panel.
Yeah. And like I think the thing that makes me the most upset is people are just upset that it happened, but like I don't see a lot of sympathy for the people that were on the panel that had to be there unknowingly.
I have all the sympathy in the world for you guys. I have no sympathy in the world for what happens to It's D&D after this.
Sure, like you are right now when it's brought up, but like there was like a ton of rhetoric about it, but there wasn't like this is really fucked up for the people. Like I didn't even know until like a day after when I sat with it for a while that I was fucking pissed, and I was like really, really upset. That's the kind of thing that sometimes it just takes a little while to sink in. Like I was really, really mad that like we were tricked. In a really
and for clarification, I am a childhood SA survivor, so that's why it was an instant trigger for me. Like, nah, these people didn't know because you all look like you had seen a ghost when the revelation
That's not okay,
came out.
man. That's not okay.
Yeah, all of our faces just went pale. We're all like, oh, what the fuck?
Well, except for me, like I was literally texting my girlfriend. I didn't fully understand what was happening. It was just sort of like background noise, because like everybody was just sort of like going off and arguing. I'm like, okay.
Can we get Yamato?
Yeah, Yamato was another one who got tricked in this situation. It's just bullshit. It was and this is what I say.
He got particularly fucked.
People fly too close to the sun because they're chasing numbers or chasing clout, whatever the fuck they're doing. It's just like, guys, there's so much fun shit we can talk about. We can talk about religion. We can talk about conspiracies. We can talk about fucking war crimes, and it's better than that shit. Give me a fucking break, people.
Wow. I don't particularly mind the subject being discussed.
Talk about it in that way, where people are being ambushed with fucking that kind of shit.
I just want to point out that it was pointed out by my chat that God is essentially Rain is holy bukkake.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But in those terms, it's just better. Holy bukkake.
There's a lot of that hidden in the like the subtext of things.
Everybody was like, dude, I felt for Wick. I felt for Sprout. I felt for you guys, especially because like I said, I was there when fucking It's D&D came on Beckett's and was like trying to defend himself. I'm like, wait a minute, you're the only one who fucking knew.
I don't remember what I said. I just remember I yelled at him.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely like you brought your I know.
Somebody that's just slightly older than my kid. That's the context for me. I was mad.
Yeah, and everybody should be like. I mean, it was just like I could not believe that I went because like when I came into the title. Hey, Desperado. When I came into Beckett's stream, the title of his stream was "They made a panel on what?" I had no idea what the fuck had happened. All right, so I come into Beckett's because I've had a rough day. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch Beckett. He usually watches silly shit we can laugh about, and I walked.
Oh, that was not silly shit.
Yeah,
joke's on you.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, basically.
Kind of like the other night when
you can ask Beckett. I may talk in his chat quite a bit, but I very rarely go into all caps mode. I was in all caps mode for about an hour that night.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh wow.
I believe it. That sounds like that sounds way worse than getting raided into a
Rich, if you're here,
debate.
You can get in. We're still here bullshitting, man. We're in the open section now.
Oh, should we do open?
That's essentially what we're doing. With
I mean, yeah, we're pretty much bullshitting at this point, yeah.
Yeah. We can move up where open people can jump in.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to be contentious, get in here and fucking take us.
Let's
get in here and contentious.
Let's all move up into
Get
Cocytus.
in the contentious, baby.
Let's all move up into the Cocytus and join the pain and let them come in and share their pain. Give us some laugh. Yeah. This way, people can jump in regardless of their role. The bottom two channels, only people with certain roles can jump in without getting yanked in. So if your name is purple or red, you can jump into the locked channels. Anybody else, you have to be pulled into those channels.
All right, come on in. Bring your shitty arguments. We're here to destroy them.
Well, Rich doesn't bring shitty arguments, so that you can't really. But everybody else.
Oh, I don't know, Rich. I was pretty much
I got
inviting
Rich.
I've been hoping for Rich for a long time because I've been pushing Rich's arguments throughout most of this panel because there's always
future Wick,
a Catholic contingency, and Rich is the greatest proprietor of
Rich,
the Catholic contingency.
If this man comes to take me to task on how Catholicism will be the one Abrahamic religion that survives the aliens, I'm out.
What about if he tries to talk you out of your newfound faith in Satanism?
No, he can't succeed there. He can try.
Oh, good stuff.
I'm too base.
It's like, I will withstand.
Yeah, well, I can just scream louder than him. That Satanism allows me to.
And so the other topic I was floating for tonight was that could there be an atheist candidate?
No fucking chance. I mean, the candidate, sure, they'd never win.
Oh, an atheist can't. Yeah, I mean, there have been candidates of almost every type, but yeah,
people.
An atheist candidate on a major platform on a major stage, no shot.
People lost their mind because Kennedy was fucking Catholic. Are you kidding me?
Exactly what I was about to say. Thank you for getting there before I did.
We have had 2 Catholic presidents, Biden and JFK.
Yeah, Mitt Romney almost slept his way to beating Obama, and he was fucking. The only reason he didn't is he's fucking Mormon. Mitt Romney
and his hot mic situation.
Yeah, but if Mitt Romney had been a Christian and hot mic that, I honestly think he wins that election.
Well, he was a Christian. Christian means a follower of Jesus Christ.
Okay, listen. If Mitt Romney had been a non-fucking, we don't claim Mormons. No, we don't claim Mormons. I don't care what you can define it however you want. As someone who right now I still like my most identifiable belief is Christianity. I don't claim Mormons. Fuck you. They're yours.
That's cool. They claim your tag, so
that's fine. I don't claim them.
Well, on the flip side,
there's that good old religious hatred I'm used to.
Hold on,
we
can bring this back. Parallax.
I'm also a Satanist.
Fuck your
remember?
feelings. Fuck your feelings.
I'm a Satanist. Yes, fuck yours double hard. I'm a Satanist now. Double hard. Fuck yours double hard. Listen, I've adapted this. I told you I was gonna make this work. So back to the Mormons. Mitt Romney.
No, I'm okay with Mormons. I'm okay with Mormons. I'm anti-FLDS because those are the nutbag Mormons that most people attribute all Mormons to. That's
fine. But I think Mittens wins that election even if he's Catholic.
No, I'm telling you, he would have won regardless of what his religion was if it had not been for the hot mic. That's what changed the election for him. Before that, he had a chance of fucking blowing out Obama. Then he squeaked out a loss instead.
But I also still think so you can change that dynamic as well, right? I'm not saying you can't change that dynamic and get a different outcome. There's so many variables in an election, goofball. What I'm saying is if you change this variable, you also get a Mitt Romney win. If you make him a fucking if you make him a Methodist,
you can make him a Methodist or a Baptist or a fucking Catholic. Any other religion would not have mattered. The hot mic is what killed him because it's what killed his vote within the poor community, which is what gets people elected in the swing states.
I think that he loses enough. I think that the vote was close enough that with his vote loss due to being Mormon, it had a real impact.
I'm not saying it didn't have an impact. I still think that even if you had changed it, that hot mic is what killed him.
I'm not.
Does anybody have any strong feelings about the hot mic?
Motherfucker. No, it was awful.
That's honestly. No, but honestly, just like honestly, that's why so many.
Comey was wrong.
So many Democrats thought that Trump's hot mic would kill him. We became confident that it would kill his campaign because it did for Romney. If it had not worked for Romney, we would not have assumed that the ridiculous hot mics we got fucking Trump on would have fucking killed his campaign in 2016, which is why so many Dems were confident he would lose.
It did. Hillary won Russian collusion.
I really like how that was like one fluid thing there. It was almost like it was all one word.
Buttery males?
Parallax, stop it. You're already eating candy. You don't need candy this way too.
God damn.
This is crackers, motherfucker.
Oh,
That's
okay,
the most fat phobic shit I've ever heard in my life.
No,
He hears a wrinkle, he's like, "You eating candy? Stop."
No,
Fuck
he was
you,
eating.
Friar Tuck.
Hey, it sounded like the fucking brownie brittle you were eating last night.
Hey, listen, fucking.
What is brownie brittle?
Yo, take it easy, Steve Wilkos with a Friar Tuck haircut.
Hey, motherfucker!
Holy
you
shit.
crack on me all you want. I don't care. I know I'm an ugly motherfucker.
And I
Dude,
know
that was
I'm
a shit.
fat.
No, I honestly thought it was the brittle again because it looked like that's what you had picked up.
No, I'm the fitness asshole on this.
Stream. He's the one who says I need to get my macros better as I sit there and eat like an ice cream cone in front of him and shit.
I'm down 140 pounds. I'm down 140 pounds. You shouldn't be shaming me no matter what.
I'm not shaming
That's what's up.
I'm not shaming you because, dude, 140 pounds, I wish I could drop that. I've lost like 30 and I plateaued going down further.
Well, like for fitness, I say it all comes down to consistency. No matter what the other things you do are, diet comes right after consistency. So
you know what comes before all of that? How fucked up your back is and how much you could exercise.
Oh my god!
You know what, man?
Still be consistent.
I'll be real with you. He's right about the consistency because my back and knees were in such bad shape, and I'm still a big guy. Let's be honest. Let's clear. I'm not a little fella. I've lost 140. Add 140 to this in your brain, and then go, damn, because that was me. Okay.
Were you like
Done.
Fluffy?
Was I what?
Were you like Fluffy?
Well, Fluffy is one level below. Damn. So I was like Fluffy. I was pretty big. Like I think
Dr. K, welcome.
Something that is often not mentioned amongst like fat people is we all silently live with a number in our head called a bullet in our head number. Like if I exceed this number, put a bullet in my head. And I exceeded mine. And I was at work when I found out, and I was like, okay, I can't fucking do it here. And I had like too many hours to think about it, and I decided to choose my wife and kid, and I came home, and consistency is the only thing that got me here. I literally just stopped doing shit like if I'm out and I drive by a gas station, I literally will not stop unless I need gas. I do not stop because I will get a drink, I will get a candy bar, I will get chips, I will get something of that nature. And honestly, I only eat as fuel. I do not eat for pleasure almost ever. You caught me stoned eating the brownie brittle last night. Fuck you. Those crackers are literally all I had tonight.
I wasn't faulting you.
Ass.
I was saying you were getting candy last night and you had your candy in the conversation too. I was just gonna get you for the candy in the conversation again because you're great at bringing it out. It's awesome.
Dude. Real talk, I'm like trying to hide.
Hey, that's how, dude.
I'll be on stream.
No, I'll be honest with you. That's how I do it. This is my candy. This is how I avoid eating shit that I shouldn't. I get on and argue with people because that just it's a workout. I'm not walking away. I know myself. I will sit here and argue until I fucking absolutely have to get up.
I think I'm pretty lean like Sprout. I think I'm lean like Sprout.
Yo, listen.
I'm 6'1" and I weigh 160.
Lefty.
So I'm 6'4", I weigh 180.
Lefty,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm fat, but I'm a lot less fat than I was a year ago. I'm down like 60 pounds.
Hey,
we don't need to get into specifics.
You're doing amazing. That wasn't the point of it. The whole point of it.
I wish I could gain weight. Like that's literally one of my issues. That's been something that's been an issue, and I think I think it's something that's not talked about a lot. So like it's understood like in the family and like friends groups and stuff like that to like not make fun of the fat kid, right? You can't make fun of the fat kid for being fat. But on Thanksgiving, what do I hear 10 times from each family that I visit? Well,
you need to eat.
Put some meat on your bones. Are you going to get a second plate? Are you sure you're done eating? Put some meat on your bones. Like I hear that so many fucking times on Thanksgiving. It's not even funny. It's like, you don't think I want to gain weight? You don't think I want to look like skinny as fuck? But no, it happens.
Just as bad. Don't body shame in general. Like, just fucking encourage. No, don't fucking start with that. Encourage people to be healthy. Don't body shame. There's no need.
No, I want him to be happy. I want him to be able to be where he wants to be, and that is what sucks. Is because people think that because you are on the lighter end of the spectrum,
That you're
that
satisfied.
you're
Yeah.
satisfied. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I know you can relate to that. Also, I just wanted to let you know my chat said there's no way you could ever hide how high you are. He said man is in the bottom of my screen and I still have to look up to see him. He's so high.
Oh, if my eyes open like normal human beings'
Your eyes have not been open for a fucking hour, bro.
By the way, are you actually high, or is this just the scotch?
Oh.
No, it's the scotch. But my eyes are as open as they're gonna be.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, no, it's just like
If I smile, my eyes are closed.
And I think Drazi is going to be partaking tomorrow for the first time in 3 years.
Yeah, I think I am.
Oh,
I'm not.
I can't wait till
I'm
I
pretty
can.
sure. I'm pretty sure.
What strain did you grab? Did you grab an indica or a sativa?
So I asked my girlfriend to get me the lowest THC they had, and it's still pretty high. She works at a dispensary. It's a raspberry parfait.
Yeah, but is it an indica or a sativa?
I'm looking. I hope it's a sativa. I told her I would prefer sativa. I don't really like indicas. I smoked like every day for like 13 years, but I stopped because it was starting to give me physical anxiety. And so like it got to the point where I was like, I'd have a drink to smoke.
Sorry to interrupt.
So for the record, straight face.
Hold on, Leth. You need to jump up to the river lounge first. You need to be the first person in the channel. Jack, where do you live?
Arkansas.
Well, your internet is ass because it's you hosting the server that disconnected me 3 times.
Oh,
he's the one who made the server. I'm just a fucking mod.
No. The way Discord
Jack's
works
my
now,
mod. I didn't know Jack was my mod.
The way Discord works now, whoever joins the channel first, the server is placed closest to them.
Weird.
Central
it's a weird update they did a while ago.
Okay, well, Central's usually a damn good hub, so that's just weird.
No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm here.
I was about to say that's Dallas hub. They're usually pretty good.
Suspicious of any infrastructure coming out of Texas, mate.
Yeah, especially right now. Where
I'll give them their
Texas.
I'll give them their internet.
Below 50.
I'll give them their internet. They fuck up everything else with their internet because the motherfuckers are greedy and microseconds accounting shit.
All right, so Leth, you're in the middle now, so he'll still have to look up even further to see your high ass.
How's it going,
so
Zero?
as I was saying, you aren't wrong. Your eyes are on par. I actually.
When I'm not smiling, you can see my eyes.
Yeah, I have pretty.
If I'm
closed
smiling,
eyes.
you're not gonna see my eyes.
Yeah, I have pretty closed eyes naturally too. So when I'm really baked, it looks like I'm just straight up not awake. Like I'll be chilling, streaming, like.
You're not gonna see me in any other way.
Yeah. When you're smiling, bro, you honestly look like I like you're smiling, but you can't see what you're smiling at.
So, in my own community, like I have a lack of acceptance in the Black community because I'm either assumed to be white or Asian.
Yeah, we've talked. You and I had a very. I'm gonna let most other people engage on this because you and I have already had a really in-depth conversation on this, and I connected with you pretty hard on that. It sucks.
Yeah.
I get it. Not on a. I don't get it in an empathetic way. I get it in a sympathetic way.
Well, being mixed is a wild thing. Being mixed is a wild thing.
I came in to represent the bald community.
Bless you, sir. Thank you, my bald brethren.
I'm sorry I've been shitting on you and your
welcome to the channel.
Through
the bald and lazy community who listen,
Zero, okay? I'm here representing the Italian community, okay? And I've been here, all right? So I don't know where you've been, but I've been here representing the Italian community, okay?
You're representing the fine hair community, bro. You're on the opposite end of the bald spectrum. Look at that fucking lineup.
No,
I actually just got lined up yesterday.
I asked him face to face. He said he's north. Can't trust a guy north of Rome. No.
No, I'm a Southern Italian.
You? Oh, that's right. You're so. Why did I think north?
I would say, honestly, I would honestly say it's Sprout. He's kind of the generic white guy. It's easy to confuse him with other people.
Hmm.
Hey, Leith, quick question. Are Italians white? Yes or no?
Yes, we are.
Leith, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
I can hear him.
Nah, Lethy's
Because you have his stream up.
You fucking nerd. You stream.
You're muted on Discord.
You're muted on Discord, yeah.
Like Sprout, we are. There's no arguing against that.
No,
I think we're Latin. I think we're Latin. I think you might check Caucasian, but I think you also check Hispanic/Latin.
I might catch some hate right now because of my understanding and my beliefs, but I believe the same way that Fanatic does.
What's that?
That every race that came during the Ellis Island period, Italians, Spanish people, like all these people are considered white.
Now,
Asians and
we're talking about
Hispanics
white now, not black then.
on the census are considered white.
Okay, I guess
you're going to hell for that one, Parallax. You're going to hell.
I guess I just feel like there's a cultural difference between like Italians and like what you would consider like white culture. Like I think there's a vast difference.
It's European. It's European.
Sprout. I'll take you aside and argue with you for 3 years with this because it's fucking. I hear this.
I think it's a vast
I have literally had this conversation with Dr. K.
Well, don't
my head hurts thinking of it.
Let her finish, please.
Yeah.
This is something. This didn't used to be a thing, right? Back when we first got to the country, right? It was aggressive integration into whiteness. You know, Italians desperately, aggressively did everything they could to be ingratiated with Anglo-America, right?
The Italian mafia?
And Anglo-America being the sort of like sets the standard for what is white.
The mafia that ran New York was desperately trying to become white.
Yes, actually, they're like you change your name, you sort of stop going to Catholic churches much, and you convert to Lutheranism so you can get a job. Like this was a thing, brother. That's the reason, well,
I'm interested to hear about it. I'm sure we're not going to talk about it tonight, but I'm interested to talk some other time and hear about that. I just highly doubt that the Italian mafia was desperate in their attempt to become white.
It depends on what time period you're talking about.
I love everything
you're
about.
You're thinking of the 50s and 60s where they pushed much more back into the Italian heritage, but back during the 20s and 30s, absolutely.
Yeah, when we first got to the country, like we aggressively tried.
Yeah, I'm talking about more time. I'm talking about more time like when the Italians came over from like World War II.
Which mafia are you referring to? Are you talking about like the ones from the home country that like fucking stayed in the home country?
He's talking about
the
post-World War II.
Specifically, he's talking about the La Cosa Nostra culture.
Okay, yeah, so not something that is emblematic of the wider community, and in fact, very few people, were directly in.
But either way, I'm necessarily talking when I say Italians, like I'm necessarily talking about the Italians that came over like World War II time frame, rather than
which is the ones that I'm talking about in the 50s and 60s, the ones that pushed it back to this. But this was the heritage, not the non-whiteness.
All right, well, we're getting caught on something that I'm trying to get to, right? Essentially, there was this huge push to integrate into whiteness. Same with Irish people, right? Like, while we definitely maintain, more culture tied to the home country than, say, Anglo or Dutch Americans, sure, German Americans as well, we're still definitely ingratiated into American whiteness. Like, come on, you can't argue that. There's been this weird new wave of like people like Rick Caruso and stuff, like trying to claim Latinness as an identity to sort of like distance themselves from whiteness. And it's just kind of cringy, to be honest. When you hear the term Latino, like that refers to people like from, the former colonies of Spain and Portugal. Like that's what we're talking about when we're talking about Latino. The former colonies of those two in the New World. Like, we
like
don't
I said,
have to mince words about it.
Like I said, I think you check Caucasian, right? When you're doing that job application, I think you check Caucasian, but I also think you check like Latin.
They don't have a
it,
Latin though. They have a Latino.
Hispanic/Latin, right?
It's a Latino.
Oh, okay. Wait. Latino's the Spanish word for Latin.
Yes.
Okay, so Latin.
It's the Spanish
so you check
word.
Latin. It's literally saying Latin.
Why are we specifically using the Spanish word, my friend?
Where did Latin come from?
Spanish.
Where did Latin come from? Where did Latin come from?
Oh my fucking god! Are you gonna do
Italy?
Stupid
I'm bringing it up to bring out a further point, right? I'm bringing it up to bring out a further point. It's not like it's not like I'm just saying this and be like, okay, well,
brother, if that's the case, then Spaniards and Portuguese people from Spain and Portugal would also fall into this definition, and they are also white.
Spaniards do.
Ooh. No, they don't. They're not Latino.
No Spaniard would ever claim that, just so you know. Spaniards would absolutely claim their whiteness.
From what I understand, Spaniards claim Hispanic.
Here's what I would...
No, they love being white, mate. That's kind of part
totally
of
cool with being
Franco's
white.
old deal.
So,
I just want to say, Sprout, you're the only person that I have met that is like willing to die on this hill too. I'm Italian, and I've been treated like not white so fucking much to my detriment in my life. I never assumed that Italians were white, and it wasn't until this year that I found out that people get fucking pissed when you even suggest it.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up. It usually brings up content.
Can I ask, are they black? Are they black?
What?
Are they black?
Or who black?
No, they're Italian.
Okay,
are Italians black? Oh, I guess if you go by the one drop theory, sure, whatever. But no.
Yeah, so that was going to be my question: is if they're not white, what are you? And we
Latin.
Latin?
Yes, Latin.
Okay, no.
Why not? Because okay, so I guess it'd still be considered white. You'd still be considered Caucasian, right? But on on that same shit, right? There's another section right underneath it. Okay. I can't even finish my sentence.
Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you. So underneath that, there's a section. It's like Hispanic or Latin, and yeah, I would say that Italians should check that mark.
Okay, so
there's
I would
no
say to you
Latin.
That hold on, he's basing it in language. Based on this logic, French people should also check that box, right?
Yes, French, Spanish, and Italians around. Yes.
All right, if you're willing to bite that bullet, your belief is consistent. It's just absurd, but okay. Hey.
All right. So
when I have, hey Rich, man, that's racist, and the person.
Welcome, Rich.
So Rich,
I have to get going, but Sprout, we should talk about this sometime. Super interesting.
Thanks
We're
for
supposed to
being
talk
here,
in the
Elder
future.
Drazi.
Get with me.
And also, I need a rematch.
And I will be hitting you up for future panels. So
you got it, and you got it, and
you ain't having that conversation
without
me.
I don't like losing.
Just send me a DM, and I will rematch you in Magic anytime.
Will do.
But I want to make should make a stream out of it. I would love to get some more Magic content. I tried to get Sprout to play some fucking Magic. I want to get these politics streamers that I know are secret Magic nerds come out and play some Commander on stream.
Oh, I have no shame in my game and anything I do.
I know Sprout. I bet you play Green Red, don't you?
No. I actually play oh fuck, I can't even think of it. It's blue, white, red.
Oh, you're
white red. Jeskai control.
No, you're
blue. I mainly play a blue, white, red Planeswalker deck.
It disgusts me.
Jeskai Super Friends.
You're blue. It disgusts me that you put blue in your red.
So when I played green black and green white.
There's chocolate in your peanut butter. What's wrong with you?
Okay, so
all right, Rich, I gotta go. Peace out. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, Elder Drazi. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate you all.
Elder, I'll be in touch, brother. We'll have that conversation soon. Take care, my dude.
Take it easy. I'm out. All right, I gotta go. I talk to my wife and stuff if she's still up, and then I really gotta eat some food. I'm probably gonna stream tomorrow just to do the stream. Make me big. Woo. I'll probably stream tomorrow. Something I think I want to try to smoke this joint on stream. It'd probably be fun. So if I choose not to, then I'll still stream something else. But I'm gonna get going for now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, if you didn't like the stream, please. It's free. All you gotta do is click the little thumbs up. It helps me a lot. That's it. Have a good night, and I'm out of here.